on 105.3 The Fan.
It is indeed time for the Get Right with Reg and KG on 105.3 The Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula. Mike Peasley hanging out with us for a few minutes here as we get you caught up on the rest of tonight's action between the Rangers and the Reds. Reds get the comeback win, 7-6 over the good guys tonight. Unfortunately, blowing the ninth inning did the Texas Rangers. Alec Medford holding it down for you here. Appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app. The DetroitRed.com text line 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. If you want to get in on the conversation, we are with you until midnight tonight. So definitely come hang out with us. We'll be getting you caught up on all the NBA action as well throughout the course of the evening. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula on Twitter, as we bring in Mike Peasley on this Monday night. Unfortunately, Mike, the good guys go down 7-6, but I think for a lot of Rangers fans, the concern remains at the back end of this bullpen about what it needs to be, whether it be Smith, Leclerc. How do you begin to solve some of this if this team is definitely going to be a contender? You cannot give away games like this to a ball club like the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, these are the ones that hurt, and it happened in the Oakland series. The Rangers had a 4-0 lead on Friday night, lost that one. Tonight they had a 5-1 lead in the third inning, lost this one as well. But yeah, the back end of the bullpen, I think, was a major question mark coming in, and there really hasn't been anything that we have seen so far here in the first 3+ weeks of the season that I think it's going to be any clearer. Matt Hicks asked Bruce Bochy during the manager's show today if who's going to be the closer, and he said basically it's going to be both Jose Leclerc and Will Smith. He's just going to go upon matchups. But guys, after what we saw today from Jose Leclerc in the 8th inning, I think one thing is for certain. You cannot bring that guy in the middle of an inning. He's got to start fresh. You cannot bring him in a situation like he did with the bases loaded, where one walk. You had a 2-run lead. You could survive one walk. He walked the first guy. You couldn't survive the second one, and he walked the second one as well. He has now inherited 5 runners so far this year. He's allowed 3 of those 5 runners to score.
Yikes!
That tells you right there. He can't bring him in those kind of situations. Those are the situations that Jonathan Hernandez needs to be your guy. And Hernandez pitched yesterday. Understand you don't want to bring him back for the second straight day, but it cannot be Jose Leclerc.
Yeah, this is the tough thing for me is I know we were talking about a KG in the bullpen over there as we were getting ready to get on the air here. And it's like the idea being these guys need to step up, but I don't like the idea of that because they're giving what they have. I just don't think that you have a closer caliber player on this roster. And with that being the case, it kind of behooves you then to try at all costs to avoid getting yourself into the place where you need closer situations. Now, of course, that's easy to say, and that's way harder to do.
And they have done that, Reggie, for most of the part of the season. They've only had 3 saves all season because they have just blown out everybody.
But that takes me into a game like this where your fielding was not up to snuff, and that's what I personally lean on because we knew this about these guys in the back of the bullpen. Even Will Smith, who you have available, he's played on some really good teams, but those teams have not been too disappointed to see him go over the last couple of seasons. And so I understand what you have with the bullpen. We all understand that, and if this team is contending towards the trade deadline, then you can go and make that more what you want. But I think the thing that Bochy brought in and that we were all excited about was that it seemed like the fielding errors and the things that got this team into trouble last season were sort of cleaned up. And today was a day where I was a little disappointed with what I saw on the field.
It was very sloppy. I mean, Bubba Thompson made a couple of good plays late in the game, including leading off that 8th inning. He robbed a T.J. Friedel of what looked like to be a base hit there in the alley, but they did not play a very clean baseball game. It cost them a run right away in the first inning, a play that Josh Young comes charging in and makes the play and makes a bad throw. Now, he got charged with the error, but that's also a play where Nathaniel Lowe over at first base, he needs to be able to pick that.
Yeah.
So you give the error to the guy who threw it, but you could have easily given to the error to the first baseman. And again, when the Rangers play their best baseball, that's when they're playing their cleanest baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight was not a clean played game. And if your bullpen's going to walk 5 guys in the last 2 innings in a close game, the baseball gods will not allow you to win that game.
Right.
And the baseball gods did not allow the Rangers to win that game when you do that. And it's too bad because the bullpen had been so good. Just looking over the numbers, they'd given up 1 runner less in 7 straight games with a 1.08 ERA. So tonight was a hiccup. Dane Dunning had been terrific out all year long,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and he gets, the first 4 guys out, but then all of a sudden he loses control. And then that's just when it comes into the Jose Leclerc situation. And again, Jose is not throwing nearly as hard as he used to. And I think that is a big problem moving forward because right now, opposing hitters are they're laying off his secondary stuff because he hasn't been able to throw that close to strikes.
Right.
And if he's not going to be able to do that, and if he's not touching 96, 97, that's an issue.
Rangers fall 7-6 to the Cincinnati Reds, unfortunately not being able to handle their business in the ninth inning. Let's talk about a couple of positives, though, from this game, starting with the youngster that is Josh Young. Not one, but 2 home runs on this night, making up for the error that he had and doing so in a big way with the 3 RBIs and the 2 home runs that he had. He's been fun to watch, hitting .282 so far on the Young season. But again, the power display from the young man tonight.
You just keep throwing Young in there, don't you?
I mean, it's the easiest layup that you can make all season long.
But if you want to talk about layups, I've been fascinated with how much of a layup this has been, like the player has been for the Rangers. He is everything they anticipated, hasn't he been?
Even more so, because I don't know if they anticipated him this early in his career, guys, to lock him in as the number 5 hole hitter. But on opening day, we looked at the lineup and we said, oh, Josh Young's hitting 5th. That's interesting because you felt, the top 4 guys were going to be, Simeon, Seager, Lowe, Garcia. Then, 5 through 9, it was like, okay, what's going to, that's going to fluctuate a little bit. Josh Young now is number 5 hole hitter. And he must have been angry after having his 10-game hitting streak snapped yesterday because he had a couple of rockets tonight. The first one, 392 feet. The second one went even further, 418 feet. Guy's a big leaguer. Guy belongs at this level, and he belongs in the middle of the lineup. And I think that has been one of the nice, pleasant surprises offensively for the team here early in the season because you take away Corey Seager, that's the team's best hitter. But yet this team has still scored a lot of runs. They've scored the second most amount of runs in Major League Baseball, only behind Tampa Bay. You score 6 tonight, that should be enough to beat a Cincinnati team that I think in their last 7 games has scored something like 7 runs. So, and again, when you run into problems against bad teams, it's when you're walking guys. And that's what happened late in the game today. The Rangers walked 5 guys, and they ended up getting walked off.
So now, as this team gets ready for games 2 and 3 of the series tomorrow and on Wednesday, they do maintain their 2.5-game lead over the Houston Astros. So there's some positivity there with their maintaining their lead in the AL West right now, despite the loss tonight. And I think one of the things that we were talking about a little bit earlier, not just with the closer situation, but as you start to get deeper into the season, let's say we get to mid-June, this team is still competing, maybe at the top of the AL West, but more importantly, a wild card spot. These are games that you simply cannot give away, and what Chris Young may need to do at the trade deadline to try and find some help in that bullpen may go a long way to tell us about how he feels about what this team can be going into the rest of the year.
And the good news is, Kevin, that's the easiest thing to find at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
It is bullpen arms, and you don't have to give up a lot to get bullpen arms. You're not going to have to give up an Evan Carter to go out there and get a closer. You will be able to secure that pretty much rent-free in terms of, the bullpen arms, and that's just the thing. Can this team remain in contention? And if the starting pitching is healthy, they will be able to stay in contention throughout the summer months because the starters have been really good. And when you can throw out Jacob deGrom every 5 days, you're going to have a great chance to win. Nathan Eovaldi, I don't think he was great today, but, he still goes 6 innings and gives up 3 earned runs. That's a quality start. I'll take that. And again, he's pitched in some bad luck this year as well. If you look at his FIP, his fielding independent pitching, it's 5th in the American League. It's just a little over 2. His ERA is over 5. His FIP is just like a little over 2. So that tells you that he has pitched into some bad luck when the ball's been put into play. And we saw it in the very first inning today when he should not have given up a run. It looked like he was going to get out of that jam because there was a runner at third base, nobody out, struck out the next 2 hitters, gets the ground ball, but Josh Young can't make the play. So, Eovaldi is fine, but when it comes to the bullpen, you are able to go out there at the deadline and get some pieces to help this out. Because I think right now when you look at this team, I think that's the biggest weakness of the team. I think we could agree on that.
And it was coming into the season,
it was,
too.
And they have exceeded expectations. But, eventually, water comes to its level.
Yeah.
And I hope that's not the case right now. And I hope Jose Leclerc mentally will be able to get back from this one. And I doubt we would see him tomorrow. But knowing Bruce Bochy, we saw it do it with Jonathan Hernandez. Well, the one time that he had a rough outing, he gave up faced 3 batters, all 3 reached. Next day, he was right back in there, and he got the guys out. I don't know if you'll do that with Jose Leclerc tomorrow, but I would anticipate you see him again on the mound very, very soon to try to get this bad taste out of his mouth.
Mike, you used the phrase water comes to its level, and that made me think about the other aspects of this team that we're looking at, which is the guys at the plate batting really well, missing Corey Seager, who is kind of the foundation of that lineup as of right now, and then also just the fielding effort that we saw today that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Which one would you say you're more concerned about coming, quote unquote, coming to level? Is it like the defense in the way that we've seen it play today, or is it, do we feel like this offense is sustainable as it is, even without Seager for a little bit of time that he will be missing?
I don't know if it's sustainable where this team is going to score the second most amount of runs in Major League Baseball. I don't think that is sustainable. What's not sustainable is how well this team is hit with runners in scoring position. They came in the other day, I think it was like over 330 with runners in scoring position, or maybe even higher than that. That's not sustainable. I mean, eventually, you're going to have some games where you go 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So I would think that the offense, and if you get Leody Taveras going a little bit, he had 3 hits yesterday, nearly had a 4-hit game, if not for the great catch that Tony Kemp had out there in left field. Got an RBI double going in this one. And again, it seems like he's starting to come into his own here a little bit at the plate, because with the top 5 guys you feel pretty good about, it would be nice to see Nathaniel Lowe get going. He's been slumping here after his strong start, but Marcus Semien has been great. Robbie Grossman, since going up in the 2-hole, he's starting to hit a little bit more as well. I think he's got hits now in 6 straight. And, of course, Adolis Garcia, we saw what, damage he can do on Saturday, and today was named the American League Player of the Week. What will you get from the bottom of the order? And I have been encouraged, too, guys, with Ezekiel Duran.
Yes.
We have seen him in the lineup now every single day. He's starting to get some more regular at-bats, and that seems to be really providing good dividends for him. Another big day today for him with 3 hits.
As we look forward toward tomorrow, Martin Perez takes the mound for the Texas Rangers, 3-1 with a 3.38 ERA with a whip of 1.55 in 21 in the third inning, 19 strikeouts on the season. He will be opposed by Luke Weaver. It's ironic when you look at the Reds' record this year. They're 8-15. 7 of their 8 wins this year have come at the Great American Ballpark. So they're not winning games on the road, but they are winning at home. So they'll need to take care of business, will the Rangers, and they've got a good guy on the mound to do it. The all-star representative from the Rangers last year, Martin Perez, will be on the mound for the Rangers to hopefully turn things around after tonight's game.
And the thing about Martin Perez, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
He's going to go 5 to 6 innings and give up 2 or 3 runs. That's who Martin Perez is. And is the offense going to be able to get enough support for him? I would think it would. Weaver has had some good starts in the past with whether it's been with the Cardinals or Arizona, but this is only his second start of the season. The Ranger bats have been good. There's no reason to think that it won't be again tomorrow. And again, you've got to win this series, guys. They said the same thing on Friday night when they lost the opener to Oakland. You can't lose a series to the A's. You can't lose a series to the Reds, because after Wednesday, the schedule's going to get a whole lot tougher moving forward with the Yankees and the Diamondbacks coming in. You've got a big West Coast road trip coming up, looming as well. Then you come back home, and I think in mid-May, the Braves are in town. So this is the stretch of games here with Kansas City, Oakland, and Cincinnati you need to take advantage of. And the Rangers right now 5-2 in this stretch. Need to get those last 2 games to go up what I think would be a very respectable 7-2 against the bottom feeders of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, as Mike mentioned, the final 2 games of this series on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then they welcome in the Yankees for 4, and then the Arizona Cardinals the Diamondbacks for a quick 2-game series.
Football real quick.
I went real football real quick. It's been a lot of that today. And then, as you mentioned, a long road trip that begins on Friday, May 5th, that will last until the 14th of May, where they face the Angels for 3, the Mariners for 3, the Oakland Athletics for 4 games before they come home May 15th, where they welcome in the Atlanta Braves. So, as you mentioned, a crucial stretch here for them to be able to pick up a couple of games before they welcome in the New York Yankees. You got Martin Perez going on the mound tomorrow. On Wednesday, John Gray takes the hill. And then on Thursday and Friday, when the Yankees come to town, you've got Andrew Heaney taking on Garrett Cole. That should be a hell of a matchup to watch. And then, of course, Jacob deGrom takes his turn against the Bronx Bombers on that Friday night. That will be one of the most anticipated games so far this season for the Rangers. Jacob deGrom versus Aaron Judge and company.
And again, the Rangers sent out a notice yesterday about tickets, and Saturday's game's basically all sold out. Sunday's game, there's limited availability, but plenty of tickets still available for both Thursday and Friday. So if you were looking to go to one of those games this weekend, it's got to be the Friday night game, right? First round of the draft's done. First round of the NFL draft's done.
Right.
Friday, you got Jacob deGrom going up against the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo and that crew. That would be the one to circle.
And we've made a lot of this over the last how many months? Probably since we heard the name Jacob deGrom associated legitimately with the Texas Rangers. It's nice, even though, yes, you're mentioning the Yankees, and that is definitely driving some of the ticket sales there. It's nice to have legitimate excitement about this team.
Yes. It's been 6 years in the making.
And they are showing that. So now you have those matchups when the Yankees come in, and it's not just let's see Aaron Judge hit hard, hard balls. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's see this team compete with the best of the best. And looking at, power rankings, the Rangers crept their way into the top 10 over this weekend. I'm interested to see that level of measuring stick opportunity once you get through this series, I should say, with the Reds.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're facing Garrett Cole the first game on Thursday, because Garrett Cole has just been unbelievable to start the season. His first 5 starts, he's been absolutely dynamite. So that'll be certainly a tough one to get. But yeah, that'll be the measuring stick. Can you at least split the 4-game series with the Yankees? You would love to take 3 out of 4 from them, especially in your ballpark. But that's tough, especially when Garrett Cole is pitching the first game. But can you at least, maintain things with New York? Can you play against arguably one of the best teams in the American League? That's what I'll be looking forward to. But of course, they got to get through these next 2 games against Cincinnati to at least, ride a little bit of momentum going into that Yankees series, which will be really the first big test for this team to see exactly where they are here at the end of April.
Mike, let's put a final bow on this one tonight as we get ready to go off of tonight's game. Biggest observation that has to get corrected going into tomorrow?
Again, it goes back to Jose Leclerc. You've seen what he can do right now in those high leverage situations. You just can't bring him in with runners on base. If you're going to bring him in, start him fresh. Start him in a clean inning where if he does walk the first guy, he's got a little wiggle room to get around things. I think that's the biggest thing that at least I learned tonight with Jose Leclerc.
Oof. I mean, it's a fair takeaway. I just keep looking at what Bruce Bochy has in the toolbox to utilize, and it's just not a lot there. But, I mean, it's one of the things, it's one of the large selling points of all of the selling points that you have in Bruce Bochy and the manager is that he usually does incredible managing that bullpen.
He does.
So
it's one of his biggest strengths.
And to be fair, this is still very early into the season. He's learning these guys. I think that he might be learning that just like you are at this moment and figuring out, okay, that might not be the best way to utilize this
I think
pitcher.
that's fair. I think that's very fair. Very fair statement, what you just said right there about Bruce Bochy learning what guys can do in their roles and what they can't do. And I think we learned tonight what Jose Leclerc can't do.
Unfortunately, the good guys go down tonight at the Great American Ballpark, 7-6. Unfortunately, Jose Leclerc not being able to handle business in the 9th inning. Rangers get back on the diamond tomorrow. Martin Perez looks to turn things around for the Rangers. Game time at 5:40, of course, can be heard on the Louisiana Hot Sauce Rangers radio network here on 105 through the Fan. Mike, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
Always great talking baseball with you guys. Thanks.
Appreciate it. It is the Get Right. We're Reggie KG here on 105 through the Fan. Again, we are with you until midnight tonight. A lot of terrific action across the association. Big night in Major League Baseball as well. Aaron Rodgers finally becoming a New York Jet today.
That happened before?
The Rockets got a new head coach. But coming up next, Jimmy Butler just put on one of the greatest performances that we have seen in a playoff game in a long time. I'll tell you how he did it next on the Get Right.
The more you listen, the harder we grind. The headlines are
Little Attitula.
What's up?
Alec Medford holding it down for you here. Really appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app, the TruckRed.com text line, 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053 if you want to get in on the conversation. Plenty to get to as we are with you until midnight tonight. Jerry, Steven, and Big Mike talking today ahead of the NFL's annual selection meeting, which is on Thursday night. Coverage beginning at 6 o'clock here on your home of the Cowboys, 105 through the Fan. What they had to say in leading up to Thursday night's NFL draft, we will get to throughout the course of the show.
Where should folks hang out on Thursday night?
They should hang out at one of any of the Pluckers locations, but specifically with us at the Allen location.
That's right.
For Pluckers. Reg and I will be at 190 East Stacy Road.
Oh, you remember the numbers. I was like, it's somewhere on East Stacy.
That's
Just drive up and down East Stacy
right.
to see Pluckers and come hang out with us.
That's right. Professional broadcaster at work. And we are going to be hanging out with you all night long for the NFL draft. Again, coverage beginning at 6 p.m. Our path to the draft coverage brought to you by Pluckers, also K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, and the Owner's Box. So appreciate all of our terrific sponsors helping us out this year on our path to the draft. Again, Big Mike, Steven, and Jerry talking. We'll get to them a little bit later on in the show and how Jerry decided to throw with the last, 47 seconds left in his presser.
He was like, it wasn't spicy enough. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't enough quotables. So let's throw this in here to get the people going.
As if Jim Cramer showing up wasn't enough, spice, I guess, today.
This is so weird, and we're already half talking about it, but we have to talk about the fact that, what did we just see? Did we just see the best player in the world go down 3-1 in the first round of the NBA playoffs?
Yeah, that's because, Medford, Jimmy Butler has just decided to go nuclear on Giannis at the Bucks tonight.
Number one three-point shooter so far in these playoffs. Butler around angles. Up and down! Up and down! How did he pull that out of his bag of tricks? Jimmy Butler is absolutely having his way.
See, I just wish Reggie Miller would just shut the hell up. Like, let Kevin Harlan just call the game.
In that situation
no,
in particular?
period. Just period.
I agree.
Let Kevin Harlan just call the damn game. Let him go full Chuck Cooperstein and just call the game.
By the way, our guy Brad Davis with the best job in sports. He says on average 7 words a game, clocking paychecks. Love you, Brad.
Oh man, Kevin Harlan on the call for the NBA on TNT. Jimmy Butler went off for 56 of them things, Sean Sharif, because he took what you had to say real personal.
Was Sean talking mess?
Reckless.
Oh, no.
Reckless. Sean knows exactly what he said, too. I can't wait to hear him tomorrow morning.
Hey, man,
have to apologize to Jimmy Butler for the recklessness that he went off on him last week.
Can't everybody beat a basketball show record on 105.3 The Fan? That's tough.
That is because the Miami Heat now go up 3-1 and have Giannis and the Bucks on the brink
of
elimination.
Some of that was aided by the Giannis back contusion that happened, and then he didn't play. But him coming back, and I showed you a video very early on to this game, and the only conclusion you could take from that video is this dude is feeling okay. Because Giannis was going crazy, and this is the thing, right? The Miami Heat are one of the chief teams, but anybody in the league, they have a philosophy. Don't let that guy do it to us. And so what the Milwaukee Bucks decided to do was play Giannis and Brook Lopez pick and roll. And so this is your power forward and your center playing pick and roll, where your power forward handling the basketball, and both defenders are like, look, we are double teaming Giannis every single time. And Giannis was like, that's all right. I'm going to make this pass to Brook Lopez, and he's going to hurt you. And Brook Lopez put up 36 of them things. The problem is, like, for most of the fourth quarter that I can remember, and maybe into the third quarter before that, it was like a consistent 10 to 12 point lead. Miami goes and makes a bucket. Milwaukee goes and makes a bucket, and it was just up and down. And towards the end, it just became that Miami got stops. The Bucks missed shots. The Bucks turned the ball over, and the Miami Heat went to the Princeton, or not even the Princeton offense, the Bel Air Academy offense. Get the ball to Will, and Will in this case,
y'all get the hell
name
out
is
of the
Jimmy
way.
Butler.
Yeah, y'all just get the hell out of the way.
Like it's crazy that they win that game because they only had one consistently good offensive player that could go get the bucket. But that's Jimmy Butler. Like, Jimmy Butler does not profile as that kind of player during the regular season. He just affects winning. He's one of those guys. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, you can't be like, yo, he's a great shooter, because he's not. You can't say he's an incredible slasher. I mean, he's good at it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like he has the best handle package or whatever. Like, he just, when it comes to winning time, he won't it. And these are the things about playoff basketball that make it different than regular season basketball. And Jimmy Butler's just one of those guys, man.
I feel you 940. Would have bet my life the Bucks would have won if you had told me Brook Lopez is going to have 36. Yeah, I would have said the same thing. Because that means Giannis probably went off for 30, 35 himself. But look, man, here's the way. And Medford, you could appreciate the reference.
Uh-oh.
Like,
here come the wrestle.
Well, here's the thing. Butler is a star. Like, I'm not ready to go. He's not a superstar.
Oh, he's not. He's absolutely not a superstar.
But what he is in a lot of ways, and, you'll listen to it when I say it, and you'll say, Kevin, you've got the phrase wrong, you've got the sentiment wrong. But he's like the anti-hero star. Like, as much as we love the traditional superstars of the game, Butler is kind of that stone cold, if you will. Like, he's an anti-hero and superstar in a lot of ways because he does it the way that he wants to do it, and he doesn't give a damn how you feel about it. And whether you think he's a star, a superstar, whatever, he's going to be exactly who he is, and he is unapologetic for it. And he has his team now within a game of eliminating what I thought was the deepest team and the best team.
Did you just say eliminating?
He has within a game of eliminating them.
Oh, within a game.
Yeah.
These boys just got to stave off some elimination. That ain't no problem.
I mean, I'm picking Milwaukee to win Game 5. I mean, just off time.
I am as well.
I'm picking Milwaukee to win Game 5.
How do you feel about this series? Because this just feels like this time. One thing that we could say, and we had this conversation when we were talking about Nikola Jokic. It's a little roundabout, but stick with me, you'll get where I'm going. Where we were like, I'm not sure that he has it in him to put like the team on his back, which he was doing a little bit of recently. But
Timberwolves so unserious.
If there is a player, well, I mean, they managed to sneak out a win. That's not the point. If there was a player in this league, then I'm like, I know he can just be like, get on my back. We've seen Giannis do it. 3-1 in the first round. Like, I very much am looking forward to these next 3 games. I hate the way that this came together, but like, it's really helpful for the way that these playoffs have been going to give us a situation where a great player is going to have to do one of those incredible things. And if there's anybody who's ever been up to the task, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I mean, Jimmy Butler just raised the stakes.
He sure did.
And now Giannis has the chance to respond in what is an elimination game for the Milwaukee Bucks. That game will be on Wednesday back in Milwaukee for game number 5 as the Heat now have the Milwaukee Bucks on the brink of elimination. If there's a game 6, that will be on Thursday. And if there's a game 7, that game will be, it looks like, on Saturday back in Milwaukee. Oh, boy. 19 of 28, 15 of 18 from the free throw line, 56 points in total for one Jimmy Butler tonight as the Miami Heat get the 119. They scored 41 points in the fourth quarter alone. Did the Miami Heat to get the 5-point win.
How do you want to do this? Do you want to pivot to other playoff stuff? Because, I mean, we had some really interesting playoff stuff in the weekends, or do we want to go to the pre-draft stuff?
No, we'll go ahead and stick with the NBA, yeah.
All right, so I was not prepared for that. I should have been. I asked you a question.
As if you were ready to go ahead and do what we was going to do.
Wasn't. Was not. But no, we're gonna siphon a little bit from the homie Michael Pena of The Ringer, who put together an interesting set of questions and thoughts on the first round of the playoffs, particularly what was happening over the weekend. And one of them pertains to a team that is playing right now. The Los Angeles Lakers, they lead 20-18 in the first quarter of their game against Memphis. It is a 2-1 Lakers lead at the Crypt in LA.
The Lakers have a chance to send the Grizzlies to the brink of elimination.
And the question, or not even question, the observation is the Lakers are moving. And like moving in the sense, I think folks, you look at 3 months ago, folks looked at the Lakers, or can they make it into the play-in? And now they're in a place where they look like a legitimate contender in the West. But also, this is a team that is physically active on the court. They're running. I've mentioned many a times how fascinated I am with the idea of LeBron's top speed at this age. But like, they are really moving fairly well in fast break fast break opportunities against a team that really was built, the Grizzlies, is built to get transition points because their half-court offense isn't very good.
Yeah. I think what has been pleasantly surprising about the Lakers, when they have decided to defend their tails off, they do. What they did in that first quarter, what was it, 35-9 at the end of one in game 3 was incredible. And what I appreciate what Darvin Ham has brought, and yes, Rob Pelinka gets a lot of credit for the way that they were able to make this roster, in the image of Darvin Ham with the defensive effort that they give night in night out, whether it's, Vanderbilt, Reeves, Achimura. But you know who's leading this? It's not only Anthony Davis, it's the ageless one, LeBron James himself. I don't know what he has found in terms of wanting to play defense so far in this series, but he's not going to be the high-level defender that he was at his prime, obviously. But what he has done has, at times, turned up the gas defensively, whether it be weak side help in terms of block shots,
well, it's funny that
chase down blocks.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned defense because I have not necessarily viewed it as like he's playing incredible defense, although like he's given us highlights. LeBron, through the context of this series, it feels like he's coasting. And it's been good because you've had what we talk about like role player games because our philosophy, at least my philosophy, I don't want to put this on you. You can tell me whether you agree or not. In the playoffs is role players are good to get you a game here or there. You can't expect them to pour in every night.
And that was game 1 on the road.
Was Roy Hachimura
and Austin
Roy
Reeves.
Allen out there.
Yes, exactly.
And Austin Reeves putting in. And then Anthony Davis being the dominant player that he's capable of being. And when you have that, LeBron James can coast.
Like, cool. All right, cool. That's cool.
It's like, all right, you just need me to get back here at top speed and block a couple shots. I can do that. But he's not having to be LeBron James, which actually I think bodes well for the Lakers. If he can sneak out of the first round, maybe even just being able to coast a little bit at 38 years old, that gives them a much better opportunity to get out here in the second and third round and be like, now LeBron, you need to exert energy and possibly push further into the playoffs.
Yeah, because we have said this Lakers team is best when they're playing through Anthony Davis on both ends of the floor because they're all feeding off of him when he is as dominant as he can be. And the Lakers have done that now as they are looking to take a 3-1 lead tonight against Memphis.
All right, so let's talk about this one. There was a game last night where the Denver Nuggets played the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it was a 3-0 lead, and everybody thought, like, let's just go. This is going to finish up. Right, the Denver Nuggets gonna finish up the Timberwolves, and it looked like it for a good amount. They just kept storming the court here and keeping Minnesota out of the place until Minnesota managed to sneak back, get this thing, to go back the other way to Denver. They'll get a gentleman's sweep, I imagine. But the fascinating thing for me, shout out to Kevin Hagelin, Michael Porter Jr. Like, he has shown himself to be a valid postseason player, even if he does not have to be the best player on the team, which you definitely don't need. But you need him to be effective because it can't just be Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. You need a third guy who's going to be aggressive and accurate and, who's going to give you that add-in when necessary. Another guy that can maybe get up here and take a game. Michael Porter Jr.
He's capable of a 30, 35-point game.
Yeah.
Is Michael Porter.
And the problem is he's been capable of that since he got into the league. The problem is you just didn't see it enough, or you had not enough good on the defensive end to make him playable, or you had, just so spotty that you couldn't depend on any given night you putting him in and him giving you what you need.
Yeah, because Porter's length can be a real problem on both ends of the floor. When he's committed to the defensive end, he can create some havoc, he can alter some shots a little bit. He's got to be able to move his feet and be able to get, keep guys in front of him. But offensively, he's a problem because he's so long. He can rise up. He can shoot from distance. Like, he's got a lot to his game that can create problems for any defense. But, I mean, look, Game 4 was an aberration in my mind for Minnesota because there was nothing about Minnesota that I've taken so far seriously in this series. Now, Minnesota allowed Denver to come back in that fourth quarter.
Sure.
Really, low-key, didn't deserve to win that game the way that they finished the fourth quarter did Minnesota.
Deserve is real subjective, and the thing that I don't know, there's something substantive that I can take out of the series, which is Anthony Edwards is a dude.
He's incredible.
He is a star player in this league. I don't know if it's like right in this moment or a year, but he is a star. Like, that is something, because dude,
he low-key might be being held back by the fact that he's got to deal with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns on the same squad as him.
I put that on Karl. Karl Anthony Towns is the dude that you're supposed to be able to depend on.
Yeah, and play through, yeah.
And he's the dude who is so.
Yeah.
And so, like, nobody looks at them, even after winning that game, like they're going to win this series. I think that organization has some questions because Karl Anthony Towns absolutely is in a point in his career, and he has the level of talent that he should be able to be your rock. And he has not been that. Especially, like, he's been the dude losing you games, like fouling dudes late, stuff like that, getting fouled, like all this foul trouble. Yeah, like he has been a question more. And it's kind of crazy that year 3, Anthony Edwards is the guy who is, it's you too, isn't it? Anthony Edwards has been the guy who helped you guide that playoff, that game 4 comeback to help stave off elimination.
Yeah.
So no, that's interesting in that series. But yes, Michael Porter Jr. looking like a dude. Also, Phoenix, they're up 3-1 versus an injured Clippers team, but these injured Clippers teams are really working them. Like, the idea that Phoenix hasn't played together is evident early on in these playoffs.
I'm over the Clippers. I'm over it.
Really?
Yeah. And look, I love Kawhi. I really do. And I'm not going to sit up here and have, this long dissertation and bang on Kawhi and his availability and the fact that his body continues to break down. And Russ, it was pretty much the last stand for Russ and the Clippers.
It's crazy because Russ has been playing so well.
He was great. He was great. But they don't have anything left.
Yeah.
They don't have anything left. And Paul George not being available at all in this series was already a detriment for the Clippers to try and hang with Kevin Durant and the Suns. And here's the thing that's, I think, kind of scary going forward for the rest of the playoffs. Low key, the Suns are kind of starting to figure it out on the fly here with Paul, Booker, and Durant, and DeAndre Ayton. And if this team is starting to gel at the right time as the rest of this playoffs goes on, because if we go forward here, I have the Suns favored probably in any series going forward here, because I don't know. You saw Golden State, they had to come back against, Sacramento to tie things up at 2 in their series. That series is looking like it's going to go possibly the full 7 games there as well. I like what Phoenix is starting to put together, and they may have a chance to really make a real deep run based off of the gelling of their 4 stars on their team right now.
I think it's interesting that, the Phoenix Suns are the betting odds favorites to win the West. There is some level of gelling, but I actually have, I don't want to say the opposite perspective, but I'm like, the gelling needs to happen a lot sooner, because the ways that you're letting a Norman Powell and Russell Westbrook led Clippers team hang with you, I don't know necessarily that you are going.
Well, Ty Lue coach teams are not going to lay down. They're not.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
It's a great point. Ty Lue, I would argue, is the best coach in the playoffs right now. I'd argue that. Ooh. Like, he's really good in these situations. So that's fair. But there's going to be some tougher challenges as we get going. And I understand, like, they're not going to be wildly tougher, but there's going to be some tough challenges as you move on in these playoffs for the Phoenix Suns. And obviously more games will give them more opportunities to get more comfortable. But a team that can attack the size differentials, the lack of bench, and remembering that you are having these dudes play 40 minutes a night, basically, that's going to strain these teams. So the idea that they don't have it as together as strong as it is as I thought they might this early, it's a little concerning, but they're still really good. Don't get me wrong.
Phoenix closes it out tomorrow in Phoenix. That series is a wrap. They will play the winner of the Minnesota Timberwolves and Denver Nuggets series, which the Nuggets should be able to handle business. And in that West semis, I'm picking the Suns to take out Denver in the West semis to make it to the Western Conference Finals. And after that, I don't know what stops Phoenix from there.
This is my thing.
I really don't.
What's tough is it feels like the Nuggets, in actually watching them play, which I don't know how many, some of these series, man, first round, you just got to decide the ones that you're interested in and the ones that you're not. Funny enough, the Wolves Nuggets series has been a little bit more of a not for me. Sitting down and actively watching, like not it being on, but actively watching the Nuggets, I was like, they were out here doing Jokic Murray 2-man game. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And then when teams loaded up heavy, or when the Timberwolves loaded up heavy on that, they just threw an alley-oop to Aaron Gordon. Like, they have a lot of options. It's easy to forget. At any given point, they can just kick the ball over to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to knock down a 3, or Michael Porter Jr. Like, this team has a lot more options than sometimes we think about. So I do wonder how that works when you get up against the Suns. That, they have options, but do they have defensive options in order to neutralize these guys? Because that is where it gets a little interesting.
It's to Get Right. We're Reggie KG here on 105.3 The Fan. Jimmy Butler, the star of the night. 56 points as the Miami Heat now have Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks on the brink of elimination in the NBA playoffs. Coming up next, the Cowboys were talking today. Jerry, Steven, Big Mike, the best of what they had to say as they get ready for the NFL draft. We'll do that next on the Get Right.
Coming up Tuesday morning on Sean and RJ, Brian brought us live in studio.
com.
It wouldn't be the Get Right without a chance to remember the name. Isn't that right, Medford?
I didn't do this intentionally, Reggie. I'm sorry.
I don't believe you.
It's the Get Right with Reggie KG on 105.3 The Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula, Alec Medford holding it down for you here. Really appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app. What happened?
My brain just thought, oh man, we almost done. We're here till midnight. Not 11.
You might want to settle in.
Yeah, I should.
And especially don't say that out loud in the presence of Medford because, Medford's been hanging out for a little bit.
Yes.
It's 4:30, baby.
Hey, look at you, man. Get your money. Get your money. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula. Our path to the draft coverage on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by Pluckers, also the Owner's Box, and K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing. Reg and I will be at 190 East Stacy Road in Allen on Thursday night for the 2023 NFL Draft, which begins at 6 p.m. right here on your home of Dallas Cowboys football. And then your coverage will go all the way until 1 a.m. Friday morning with yours truly and Chris Arnold, the three-time Hall of Famer. We will have the post-NFL Draft show beginning at 11 p.m. We will catch you up on everything happening in the NFL Draft, including, of course, hearing from the number 26 overall pick in this year's annual selection meeting.
Well, maybe the number 26 overall pick.
Or the 13th overall pick. Or the 31st overall pick. Who knows? Because Jerry, Steven, and Big Mike were talking today at the Star. Jerry, your thoughts? How you feel? Are you going to be moving up the draft, down the draft, or staying pat?
Well, I'll speak for my staff. Steven's, as I mentioned, very influential on some of those earlier ones. But I'm kidding. But the bottom line is this. It hasn't been an overall philosophy. It's been the situation. And there is a real innate temptation to improve your situation and to physically do something about it rather than sit there and wait for the gods to take care of you. And so there's a instinctive feel about making a trade. And I would say the same thing starts going with you draft-wise until you look with the experience you've had and you look over there, and when you take those 4 threes for that one, 3 threes for that one, and you also remember what's left in the third round compared to what you're giving up in the first round, and you get hand cramps and lockjaw and don't do it. So my point is the experience of that it will be all at way here. And I'm not saying maybe it's great to have somebody that's can operate without a net. Maybe that's better. But I think personally, we've got a great mix of reflection on past. Great. I know we have Mike. I don't want to speak for Mike, and I will, though. He's got more input here than they had at Green Bay. Okay, and then let him expound on it. But I've always wanted coaches to be involved with us in a big way. And he had everything to do with getting Lamb. Mike did. And so from that standpoint, and I think that's a plus, by the way, too. But my point is that I think we've got a great combination. I'm satisfied with it, and we make the pick. And if there's ever been a truer collaboration since I've been with the Cowboys, I don't know when it was.
Okay, the word because I got to get this out. The word that comes to mind immediately after hearing that is meandering.
Well, sure. Jerry, how old now?
I mean, regardless of age, that was a lot there. My favorite part of that clip was
80 years old.
Yeah, my favorite part of that clip was, hey, I'm not going to speak for Mike, but I'm going to speak for Mike. All right.
Yeah, but he was being cheeky. It's worth noting, because this is the thing. We do this, we get out here, we start playing these cuts out of context, and it's incumbent upon us to give you the context. Yes. One thing I will tell you, Jerry was feeling good. Right? I don't know if he had some Johnny Walker. I'm not trying to say he was drunk or anything, but he was just feeling good. He was playful, as we will talk about later. And so that was one of those things that he got in there. He had a little bit of playfulness with Mike, but with Mike McCarthy in particular. But really, what he was getting at, within the context of the last, few questions, was talking about the ways in which the room, like we start talking about what the Cowboys have done in the past and their unwillingness to move up, or like the idea that they haven't in a while. And Steven also spoke to this, is the idea that, well, circumstances did not, show them that they needed to move up in these places. And what Jerry was saying there is, we have a diverse room, and he's not just saying that like there's a whole bunch of people making this pick, but there's people that have moved up in certain places. There are people that have not. There's people that, so they have all of these things within them, is basically what he's saying. That all that being said, is this a year that you feel like they have a need to move forward? Because that's what ultimately it feels like it comes down to.
Well, here's my take on this. You're only moving up for one reason. And that's a reason that a lot of Cowboys fans and RJ Choppy have lamented.
A quarterback?
No.
Well, that's what, and man, I should have found Steven's response on this, because that's basically, and yes, he does have it in there, Steven moving up in the draft. Medford, if you can make sure how long that is for me. Because basically what he was pointing to is the idea that there's only one position that like it behooves you to move up in the draft on.
Yeah, and that would be normally a quarterback. But in this case, you don't have a need for one. And Steven talked about that today, that they are in a position with the transition that they were able to have, however you may feel about it, from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott, that they have not had to have the need to go get a quarterback. But if the Cowboys are moving up, there's only one player in my mind they're moving up to go and get.
I don't know that that's something that they do, man.
I don't think they do either.
Especially with how clearly Steven spoke about that. Now, of course, like,
what they say and what they do are two totally different things.
There you go. But like, Steven seems to be at least one of the people that I think a lot of folks feel like they have an idea of his mentality. And when he says that so clearly, it does seem like they're in a place where, they're
not going to go up and go get Bijan Robinson. That's the player
so.
I'm referring to. But as you have eloquently stated throughout the course of this season, especially this particular time of the year, it's Lions season.
That is correct.
So what they may say today may be totally different action-wise on Thursday night. Now, where I am starting to coalesce around is the idea, because let's kind of put it on the table.
Put what on the table?
That a tight end is coming.
Oh, okay.
To Dallas.
I was like, hey, man,
it feels
I get it's 950, but you acting a little different.
Well, this is. Did you see Mike Giardi's report today from the NFL Network? Or I guess he's not with the NFL Network anymore. I think he got let go a little bit ago. The point is, sources are telling him, like, hey, Cowboys have done a lot of work on Michael Mayer. Now, that is, I believe, the fifth person between Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, Dane Brugler, Jane Slater, and now Mike Giardi.
Sure.
All of them have now said, hey, that Michael Mayer thing, you might want to pay attention to that real closely. To which I say, and Terez, I want to hear your opinion on this.
Uh-oh.
I'm not here for it. Do yourself a favor. Bobby Bell had an excellent description on what the kind of player you're getting in Michael Mayer and how he tested versus some of the great tight ends that we have seen. Oh, boy. Dynamic is not the word you use for Michael Mayer. Dalton Kincaid, yes, 972. If you want to see them at 26, that would be the word I would use for him. Dynamic is not a word I would associate with Michael Mayer. Solid football player, yes. Dynamic, no.
And that word dynamic is important because that's a word that the Cowboys have used themselves, right?
Yes.
The idea of dynamism. But
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I was like, what is the correct term of that, phrasing that? Regardless. My thing about Michael Mayer, though, is if you were going to have that perspective with a tight end, which I think you're entitled to, it does not feel like people have that same feeling with Jackson Smith and Jigba. And why I am saying that is Michael Mayer was clearly the best tight end coming out of college football this past season because Brock Bowers still exists and it's really good. But Michael Mayer was really, really good at Notre Dame. Like, I saw him play. Incredible stuff. But he was just he's one of those dudes that, yes, he is not dynamic. There's maybe not a lot of things you could point to, like this is an excellent thing, but it came out in the wash as, oh, this dude's really good at football, right? And so it ends up being this thing where you almost focus on the intangible all the way together because the actual tangibles that you are there to quantify don't necessarily point to it. And you know who that sounds like to me? Wide receiver 1, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Because the thing about it is we talk about all the breakdown of that is that he doesn't have like incredible speed, right? The hands aren't like wildly incredible, like the radius or whatever. He's just a dude that happens to get open, right? Like he just manages to get open, and he does it like that. And so those are two sides of the same coin, at least in my estimation, when it comes to like profile of a player. And we do not have largely, I think, the same perspective on those two guys. And really the question I have is why? Because if you look up and you go, well, that's not really the type of guy that I want. All right, that's fine. You're entitled to that 100%. I just don't understand why two guys of a similar profile, at least in that way, are looked at so disparately from you.
Oh man, I mean it's a tough question. It's a debate there, but for me, for Jackson Smith-Njigba, who I believe is the best receiver in this class, the position of value.
Because the wide receivers in this class aren't as strong as others that we've seen, other classes rather.
No, they're not. But that to me, I'm thinking about the long-term future also for the wide receiver room for Dallas. Because if you feel like you're going to move off of Brandon Cooks possibly after, the 1 year, yes, you have him under contract for a couple of years, but you would have a rookie contract with Jackson Smith-Njigba if he's there. Because honestly, I don't think he'll be there. In fact, I think he may be the pick for the Green Bay Packers, actually.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with the news that we got today.
In light of today's news. But if he is there, I would love to see that happen for the Cowboys. If you're going to have a Jackson Smith-Njigba, CeeDee Lamb, to a lesser degree, Michael Gallup, what you decide to do with Brandon Cooks.
But I find that to be crazy in some ways because Jackson Smith-Njigba is going to be exclusively a slot guy. He does not profile as like an outside guy. And with that being the case, isn't that somewhat similar to the tight end, like the dynamic playing in that slot area, playing in the seam area, right?
Well, and McCarthy talked about it today a little bit with the 3 different things that he's looking for from, 3 different tight ends that he's looking for. And Mayer going 6'4", 6'5", 245, 250 provides you an inline blocker.
Yes.
But you also need a guy that can also be split in as well, can line up off the line and be able to be a guy that can catch the ball and make some things happen down the field. So again, I'm not saying that Mayer's not a bad football player. It's a really, really good football player.
Just not one that you want.
It's not the one that I would see and would want at 26, given what you could address at offensive line.
Yes. Which, by the way, have you kind of come to the idea that that's what it feels like? Because that's kind of what I'm starting to feel like. I understand that there was a lot of talk. Like they mentioned that Let's Go is having a really great off season, and that's all fine and good. But the Josh Ball thing, the idea that he might work inside, I'm like, okay, that's not real.
Well, here's McCarthy on that a little bit when it comes to what Josh Ball, Matt Waletzko, and what the offensive line thing is looking like.
Both Josh and Matt individually feel great about him. I mean, Matt's having a great off season. He obviously had the surgery, so he's knocking it out of the park there. And Josh, I think, clearly will work more inside than out. So he's does a tremendous job in the off-season program and things like that. I'm excited to see those guys play in the preseason. They're ready. We just got to get them battle tested, but they've made an excellent. They're making all the progress you look for in your second and third players. So to me, they're right on schedule. The process really going back to the draft. I mean, it's really what I just answered earlier. You trust in your process, and they fit the profile what we're looking for in offensive linemen, and I kind of like those 6'7" offensive linemen.
Yeah, but the important part of that is second and third player, and I think that by that he means like your second offensive line, third offensive line, like on the depth chart type things. We talking about a dude that you need to be capable of starting. And so I still think you look at the ways that, these linemen have been stacking up, there's a possibility of getting a good one. Now, I understand lineman is never a sexy pick, but it could be a vital one for this team. And it does feel like that might be the place that's most effective for the Cowboys at 26.
That is Jerry, Steven, and Big Mike talking today. The Dallas Cowboys own the number 26 overall pick on Thursday night in the NFL Draft. What they do will be covered right here on your home of the Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, I don't know if you heard, but there's finally been a trade for Aaron Rodgers. What does it all mean? We'll talk about it next on The Get Right.
I don't want to speak for Mike, and I will, though.
The latest from the Star in Frisco, as well as inside information from by DFWSecurity.com. It's time for the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan.
It is indeed time for the Get Right with Reggie KG here on 105 through The Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula.
What's happening, baby?
My man Alec Med for holding it down for you here. Really appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app. The truckrate.com text line 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053. If you want to get in on the conversation, we are with you until midnight tonight here on your home of the Cowboys and Texas Rangers. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula, at Alec on the radio on Twitter. Big day in the world of sports. Cowboys getting ready for their NFL draft on Thursday night. Jimmy Butler going off for 56 points for the Miami Heat as they have the Milwaukee Bucks on the brink of elimination. The Los Angeles Lakers right now are beating the brakes off of the Memphis Grizzlies as the Lakers look to go up a commanding 3-1.
Hold on. You said beating the brakes off them? It's 14. Do you what do you view as like a blowout game? Because like these things have changed over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, you were watching the NBA, 20 points, and you were like, I don't have to watch a second more of this. It's a wrap. And that's not the case anymore.
Well,
because 14 don't feel like no blowout to me no more.
It should feel like 50 the way that the Grizzlies are shooting, because right now they are a paltry 11 of 39 from the field.
I'm going to be the jerk, aren't I?
And shooting a whopping 17.6% from three.
KG said poultry, didn't he? That's foul.
That's exactly what Memphis has been playing like. I haven't told a lie.
Thank you. That was a very corny joke.
I know, I got it.
I'll
That's why I sped right past it.
You should.
That's
exactly what you
right past.
It's exactly what the joke deserved. But I had to say it.
Meanwhile, the Lakers are shooting nearly 52% from the field as it currently stands right now. Memphis got a lot of work to do. Shout out to John Morant. But
you know who don't got work to do? The New York Jets. It's all done.
Okay.
It's time.
Let's take in this moment. Medford, you ready for this?
Okay.
Let's take in this moment. So Laura Rutledge is doing her thing on NFL Live.
Hosting the show
on NFL Live on ESPN. They're supposed to be talking about Trey Lance, and then all of a sudden, Adam Schefter and this moment happened.
And the quarterback situation in San Francisco.
Oh, Laura, we have breaking news right now. Breaking news. Aaron Rodgers officially is being traded to the New York Jets. And it just came down moments ago in a trade involving 6 picks. Aaron Rodgers is going to the New York Jets. It's official. It is happening. Finally, after all this time, we've been waiting for this trade to happen, and now it is. And here are the details of the trade that just came down. The Jets are sending their first-round pick this year, their second-round pick this year.
Sorry.
Well, hold on. Big swagoo, hold on. Their second-round pick next year, it's a conditional.
Okay, let me stop right there for a second.
Yeah, I was like, the tough part about this is that this is an audio medium, because what you need to see is that Mina Kimes and our guy Marcus Spears.
That's right.
At the
and
same
Orlovsky,
time.
yes.
Or Orlovsky was off to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
But Mina Kimes and Marcus Spears had the same exact expression.
Yes.
And it was hilarious.
My favorite part about that particular point of that clip right there, Schefter told Spears, hey, shut the hell up.
I'm not done.
This is my moment. I've been waiting on this for a damn year to get this out. You're not going to mess up this moment for me. I'm breaking this news. Shut up. I'm going to break it right now. Continue, Mr. Schefter.
This year?
Sorry.
Well, hold on. Big swagoo, hold on. Their second-round pick next year, it's a conditional pick. They get back the Packers' first-round pick this year and a 5th-round pick, but the trade is coming down. Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet. It is official. The two sides are in agreement right now, and essentially here are the terms of the trade that I can give you exactly as it stands. The Jets, and again, this is in real time, so it's coming in. Aaron Rodgers, pick number 15 in the first round, a 2023 5th-round pick, number 170. The Packers get pick number 13, a 2023 2nd-round pick, number 42. The Jets' first-round pick first pick in the second round, a 6th round pick, number 207, a conditional 2024 second round pick that becomes a 1 if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays this year. And so the trade that we've been waiting for finally has been agreed to. Aaron Rodgers is being sent to the Jets, and the Jets have a quarterback, and the Packers have extra draft capital and extra draft ammunition.
Adam.
KG. What did I tell you when we was walking around Las Colinas Country Club? The Jets had no leverage. They haven't had leverage for forever. In fact, like once Aaron Rodgers, like the last time that the Jets had any leverage was when Aaron Rodgers was like he was leaning 90% to retiring. That was the last leverage that they had.
Which apparently and reportedly kind of threw a wrench into all of this because they were like, oh, no, hold on, what?
Yeah, but as soon as Rodgers was like, I'm going there, and then Joe Douglas got out here in front of everybody and God and everybody else, right? Like the cameras and everything, and said he's going to be a New York Jet. I was like, all right, we got what you need. Give us what we want. Like that's all it became. The Packers, they were like, oh man, the Packers are trying to get you're damn right, they're trying to get a first round pick. You want a quarterback, we got him, and there's no other options out there unless you want to go run out Ryan Tannehill. Good luck. Right? Like you want this guy, he wants to go there, and we're the only ones standing in the way, and you got to give up the picks. And they did. And the crazy thing about it, they went wild with it. Like they got fleeced. Gutekunst, right? Like as much as we could talk about the idea of, oh man, he hasn't given, wide receivers to Aaron Rodgers or whatever, first round picks for Aaron Rodgers.
He won. Yeah, he won.
No, the way you cut this, man.
Yeah, he won because as Schefter mentioned the particulars on this, the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, a pick swap in the first round, obviously. They'll go to 15 while the Packers go to 13, and a 2023 fifth round pick in this year's draft at 170. The Packers, again, as I mentioned, the pick swap, so they'll go from 15 to 13. They get a second round pick at number 42, a sixth round pick at number 207. And the whopping part about all this, now, I don't know if the Jets was like, oh, we're gonna get the Packers on this one because we're gonna send them a conditional second round pick.
No, I mean it was gonna be conditional. I mean, for the most part, but the conditions before were going to be more protective. Like the conditions were supposed to be protective of the idea that Aaron Rodgers,
if he gonna play or not,
does not play beyond this year. Yeah. The thing about it is, Aaron Rodgers gonna play 60% of them games.
That's what I'm saying. That's the part that made me laugh.
Aaron Rodgers played all them snaps this year being hurt, right? So like this, I think that is really the biggest point of showing the idea that they had no leverage, and it was just like, do you want the quarterback or not? You pay the price. And I don't think anybody's going to be upset with this deal right now. The Jets might be upset with this deal on the back end, but it's the one you got to make, right? Like, this is the shot that they wanted to take. You can't go and draft another quarterback. You drafted 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the last, 3-4 years, and none of that has worked out. So, yeah, go ahead and do this.
Yeah, several things for me, because unless something catastrophic happens to Aaron Rodgers, he is going to play 65% of the snaps. So let's just call it what it is. The Jets gave up 2 first-round picks to go get Aaron Rodgers, and they gave up their second round pick at number 42 as well to get him. So you gave up a ton to get a dude, while yes, has won 2 of the last 3 NFL MVPs at the same time. Oh boy. And one of my first thoughts went to Zach Wilson, because if I'm Wilson, 1, I hope my key card worked tomorrow. 2, if I'm going to be there, I have a golden opportunity to say, look, I could sit here, learn from Aaron Rodgers for the next year or 2, however long he's going to be here, remake myself as a player, as a teammate, and maybe have some kind of redemption by being able to take over once Rodgers leaves. Because I don't think the Jets are necessarily ready to give up on him.
Why not?
Long term.
Why not?
He's still there. You could have moved on from him. You could have cut him. You could have traded him. He's still there. Now, they ultimately still could do that. But I do think that there is an opportunity for him to be able to learn.
From who? What about Aaron Rodgers? What about Aaron Rodgers makes you think that he's here to train people?
He's not necessarily maybe not talk to him, but look, people, I think that gets overblown sometimes. Yeah, the whole Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers thing from the 204. No, they traded 13 and 15 this year. That's what I said, the pick swap. It's the same thing. They only gave up 1 max first. But the point being, they swapped first-round picks, and now they gave up what will be a first-round pick next year. Ultimately, Wilson will be able to learn from Rodgers. And how much Rodgers communicates with him, I think he's softened up a little more as his career has gone on, and I think he'll be able to help him learn some things. But we'll see.
Okay, if
we'll
you
see.
say so. How does Zach Wilson Realty sound to you?
I mean, it sounds good on card.
Okay.
Sounds good on the card.
Zach Wilson Mercedes? No?
Car dealership?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to help the guy out. Yeah, this is just what it had to be. But yeah, the Jets really, this is an all-in move.
Yeah.
And I hope I hope it pays off because like they are giving up a good amount, which again, what you had to do.
Yeah.
Cost of doing business here.
And let me correct myself. It's the pick swap at 13 and 15 for this year's draft, and then a conditional 2024 second rounder that will turn into a first round if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps. The other thought that went through my mind immediately, okay, it's the Jordan Love show now.
Yes.
How do you now, if you're Gutekunst, surround Jordan Love with the kind of weaponry that will allow him to ultimately be successful here?
Well, all these damn picks you got.
And you can start in this year's NFL draft. As I was mentioning earlier, I would not be shocked if Jackson Smith-Njigba is the player that gets selected by the Packers to go along with Christian Watson and that what would be a young wide receiver core to be able to help him grow and get better there. And then if you're the Packers now, you get to turn around at 42 and be able to have another player that you can add offensively for Jordan Love. So the Packers won in this deal. They won big. But if you're Aaron Rodgers now at this point in your career, okay, you moved on from the Packers because they didn't want you around anymore. The relationship had worn itself thin. But you now go to the AFC where the murderer's row of quarterbacks that you've got to see year after year. By the way, shout out to the Cowboys. They're going to be hosting Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets this year. You think that game's on Thanksgiving Day?
No idea.
I mean, the schedule hasn't come out. I'm saying, do you think that game will be played on Thanksgiving Day?
Don't think so. In part because Thanksgiving gonna do numbers regardless. So you might move that one to a place where you can really get some bank on it. Could be wrong though. No idea.
Medford, you think they'll play that game on Thanksgiving Day? I mean, they had the Giants and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
And they do love doing that division game on Thanksgiving.
I mean, that was the Giants and the Cowboys. Yeah.
They love putting a division game.
Yeah.
Too.
But the Jets, I mean, New York market, Cowboys.
Yeah, or one of the primetime games week 1.
Oh.
I could see him doing it early.
Huh. That's Sunday night
Just make
game?
sure he's fresh.
Sunday night, Monday night, Thursday even.
It's going to be, hell no. I don't want that game on Thursday.
I don't either, but I could see the league doing it for the ratings.
Oh, could you imagine if they want to be in the opening night game of the NFL season? The Jets and the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium on that Thursday night. Now that would be the only Thursday night I would see. That or Thanksgiving would be the only 2 Thursdays I would see that happening. So we'll see. But
glad it's over though. That was an annoying thing to just I'm not gonna pretend like I was sitting here waiting with bated breath for this to get done. But it's nice to get that out from over our heads on the schedule.
Yeah, and the other part is the murderers row of quarterbacks he's going to have to deal with. You got to run through Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Lamar Jackson.
Maybe.
I think he will.
Just wanted to accurately represent
I got you. No,
uncertain nature of
appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at this point in your career, that's a lot of work to be trying to do to win another Super Bowl, trying to go through Mahomes and Burrow to start off with.
Well, that's why they got all them dudes on defense, Sauce Gardner and all them, and Garrett Wilson and all them, and Breece Hall and the other dudes that they done brought in.
Because I don't think this makes the Jets the Super Bowl contender that they think they're going to be with the addition of Aaron Rodgers. I don't see it as of yet.
They were really good last year with assorted lampposts playing quarterback.
I mean, they've got some young stars on both sides.
Mike White had that thing humming. I think they have a real opportunity to be a very good team.
Okay, so let's run it down real quick. Are you picking the Jets to go to Kansas City to beat Patrick Mahomes?
I ain't seen what none of that looks like yet.
That's a yes or no question.
I have no idea. I legitimately have no idea.
I say no. Are you picking the Jets to go to Cincinnati to beat Joe Burrow in Cincinnati?
If I didn't give you an answer on the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs, which makes you think I got something for you with the Chiefs? All right.
You picking the Jets to beat Cincinnati on the road?
On the road, no.
You picking them in Kansas City to beat Patrick Mahomes on the road?
Hell no.
You picking them to beat Buffalo on the road?
I could see it.
But is it a toss-up for you, or who would you feel more confident in?
I'd say toss-up right now because Josh Allen has been a little weird lately.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd say 50-50.
Okay. I wouldn't pick the Jets in any of those games on the road. I wouldn't, personally. So, we'll see. But, yes, as Reg put, it's over. The ghost has finally been given up.
Hey, man, the Jets had one of the best defenses last year, man. Let that get to humming. Look, I want to be spicy. Yes, I picked them to beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
Really?
How about that?
Relax. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
April 24th? You're not going to remember this. You're not going to remember none of this.
No, I'll remember because you didn't want to answer the question the first time. Then you just wanted to be spicy, just answer the question.
That's right. This is what you was looking for, wasn't it? In fact, they're going to beat Patrick Mahomes, too.
That's right. There you go. Participate. There you go.
They're going to beat Josh Allen and them by 20.
Now, good point from the 972. Now, one of Reg's favorite players, Breece Hall, he's going to be back for them.
That's what I'm saying.
Running the football. But I'm still not picking the Jets to go to Kansas City, Buffalo, or Cincinnati to beat any of them.
They're beating all of them.
Hell, with everything that the Packers had to play for, they couldn't even beat Detroit in Lambeau. I'm just saying.
Did they have Sauce Gardner, though?
I mean, touche.
Mm-hmm.
But Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes and everybody else don't. I'm going to go with that dude. Aaron Rodgers, finally a Jet. Finally. From the 2-4. KG, you didn't ask about beating the Cowboys. That's because he plays in the AFC. We're talking about him playing against the AFC. But I see what you're doing there. I'm glad that's over. Finally, it's over. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet. Best of luck, Jordan Love. Good luck with that. Coming up next here on the Get Right. Are these playoffs bad? We'll talk about it next.
Blasting out 100,000 watts of FM sports talk power.
for joy.
Back here on the Get Right with Reggie KG here on 105 through the Fan. Gonna talk a little NBA playoffs here as Jimmy Butler and his singular force takes out the Milwaukee Bucks. But have the playoffs not been that great so far? We'll talk about that here on 105 through the Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Attitula, Alec Medford holding it down for you here from the 214. KG, you didn't answer about beating the Cowboys. And Reggie, you know that Payday and Butterfinger are still the A-listers. Says Jay Gon and
Butterfinger
Terrell.
ain't no A-tier candy. Don't do that.
And they need a shout out because they quit their job and got called back and got $1,000 raise to stay.
Oh, okay.
And God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good.
Sounds like it. I might need to call up the boss here in a second.
Or as Medford would say,
God is great.
That's right. That's right.
I'm surprised you didn't
minute.
read. Oh, so you got more?
I was just saying it's been a minute. I'm out of practice.
That's true.
I haven't been with y'all in like years.
I don't think it's been that long. I get your point. I don't think you're right there. You didn't read this other text that came in from the 469.
Oh.
Yeah, they said, so in 2024, Rodgers is going to get cut from the Jets and sign with the Vikings. Is that how that plays? I think
right.
that's how the story goes.
That's how the script works.
Which is just in time for Kirk Cousins' money to come off the book.
Let's bring it all the way back. The script has been fulfilled. Script already getting started. 14 years ago, Brett Favre was traded from the Packers to the Jets. The script just got much like WWE championships, just gets, recycled, over again. And I'm gonna pick the Cowboys to beat the Jets. I think Dak Prescott's on full legend killer mode, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you think Bijan Robinson goes for about 250?
What?
You say what? I don't understand what you...
I was like, wait, huh? What?
Huh? So these playoffs, huh?
You hear me? Like, wait, what? Okay, real quick before we get to the playoffs.
Okay, yeah.
If Bijan Robinson somehow, some way becomes a Dallas Cowboy, that would be the upset of the draft, right? Like, short of Anthony Richardson going 1 to Carolina, which we know is not going to happen, that would be the upset of the draft, right? Bijan Robinson making it all the way to 26.
What a steal.
And being taken by the Dallas Cowboys.
Be incredible.
Okay, I just want to make sure we got that on record.
Because, the thing about it is it would be a fall that happens simply because he's a running back, right? We know that he is crystal clean on the, off the field stuff. Like, he is a dude that folks love. He does all the things on the field. And when I say all the things, he runs the ball incredibly, and he gets out here kind of like a receiver. Like, he is quite literally a weapon, as they call it.
Yeah.
He's just running back. That would be quite the coup for the Cowboys.
The NBA playoffs continue as we saw literally one of the greatest performances in the history of the game.
Points-wise.
Points-wise from Jimmy Butler tonight. Who was the list? Only Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Donovan Mitchell have scored more points in a playoff game than what Jimmy Butler did tonight with the 56 points that he dropped on the Milwaukee Bucks to send them to the brink of elimination. But unfortunately, Reg, injuries have kind of derailed a lot of this in terms of the playoffs.
The reason why this series just got all wonky with Jimmy Butler putting up that performance is because Giannis missed a couple games.
That's right.
With a bad contusion. Kawhi Leonard has missed 2 or 3 games with, continued issues for his body. Joel Embiid.
He's already been ruled out for Game 5.
Missed time. Yeah, there's that. Ja Morant missed a game or 2, or it was a game with that hand injury. Paul George hadn't played a single game. Tyler Hero's out. Jaden McDaniels punched that wall at one time, right? And now I'm really stretching the boundaries of the idea of star. But you're seeing a lot of the players that would play in the rotation, and more importantly, the stars in this game miss time. And the NBA is not like football where it's like, yo, we are selling this just on the idea of these teams being here. Although I guess you could point to quarterbacks. But the NBA is sold on stars. even in the playoffs, right? Like this, some places are about the stakes. The NBA is stakes and stars at this time of year. And the idea that you have so few stars playing, because once you get into like the Western Conference, once you get into the conference playoffs, then we can just talk about stakes in and of themselves, right? But you need the stars. And the idea that you've had these stars not here has, one, obviously made this not as sellable, but two, these are the players. We were talking about this earlier, and I want to reiterate: the role players are the players that you anticipate to put up a game here and there. They're not the ones that you anticipate being there every night of the playoffs. Those guys are the stars, and so that also lessens the quality of basketball you're getting, because when it comes to playoff basketball, it's the stars that make every single game what it is worthwhile. It's why we talk about these matchups in the terms of the stars, not just because those are the people that we know, but because those are the people that are singularly affecting every single game in the playoffs. And when you have 3 of your top 7 players, let's say, in Giannis, Kawhi, Joel, I'm probably stretching for Kawhi, let's say 3 of your top 10, miss time, and like a good amount of time, multiple games on all of them, multiple games on all of them in the first round, that's a bad time, man. On top of like already the matchups that you had in the East that were not all that interesting to begin with.
Yeah, and it's been sad watching how these injuries have affected these playoffs and what we have seen and how they turn some of these series. You just mentioned the Milwaukee series with Giannis. He did come back tonight, had 26 points in the losing effort for the Bucks, but that changed the trajectory of how the series looked. Kawhi and his surprise missing of the last couple of games, as I mentioned, already ruled out for Game 5 against the Phoenix Suns, dramatically changed how this series looked between the Suns and the Clippers. Tyler Hero to a lesser degree with the Miami Heat, who has been lost to the playoffs with a broken right hand. These are the kinds of things that you don't want to see happening. And now we've got De'Aaron Fox, who is doubtful now going into Game 5.
Fractured finger,
with a fractured finger that he suffered for the Sacramento Kings.
But that's only one part of it, though. And then I guess before I move on to the second part, on the truckwreck.com text line from the 214, load management ruined basketball. And if you think this is a load management issue, I think you might have the wrong perspective, personally. Because like load management is a reaction to these things happening in basketball. I think that we're just getting to a place where we are placing too much stress on these dudes' bodies. Like, really, the answer to this is probably less games that we know will never happen because of like the money hungry nature of capitalism in general. But like that seems to be the thing. We're just like the level of basketball that is being played at this point, like the level of athleticism and contact that is being asked to be played at this level of basketball currently is just too much to put on the human body for all of these games. And so, yeah, I think we're getting to this place where that's part of it. But the other part of why I think this playoffs have kind of been bad, we've had a lot of ref shows, man, and inconsistent ref shows. Like, let's just take it from an ejection standpoint, because I understand it's not just ejections, there's fouls and all these things. Over this weekend, we had Joel Embiid not ejected for kicking somebody below the belt.
Then James Harden
ejected for giving somebody the tap, which, let me say, nut punchers and kickers will not prosper, shall not prosper. So, like, I think that we are teaching the babies the wrong thing if we do not.
Chris Paul.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, like it feels like we're not getting a consistency across, which I think is really the thing that you have to ask for. Refereeing these sports, especially at this pace and all these things, are incredibly difficult. But at least if you give me consistency, I can feel like there's a level playing field. When you end up with games where people are focusing on the refs, it really does hurt the appeal of what's happening.
Yeah, because it just takes away from what should be the best time of the playoffs, is that these players, these incredible players, putting on the shows that they do. But yeah, the inconsistency that we've seen, obviously the whole Draymond Green situation with him and Domantas Sabonis. You mentioned,
don't forget about that.
You know, with Embiid and Harden, Nick Claxton getting thrown out of a game as well, with the Nets, having already been eliminated. The point being, there's just been a lot of inconsistency in the way things have gone down. And I thought, to be honest, the Embiid was the worst of the, 3 or 4 infractions that we've seen perpetrated so far on these playoffs. The whole Dylan Brooks thing as well.
Yeah. So you're kind of cool on the Draymond Green, Andre the Giant stomp?
Well, I mean, Domantas Sabonis went full Kurt Angle, ankle lock on Draymond Green. And then Draymond was like, well, I'm going to stop a mud hole in your chest for, literally taking my ankle off. Like, I thought the NBA did a little much. I thought Joe Dumars was out here, doing a lot with the suspension of Draymond Green.
I think also that kind of
and the reasoning for it, too.
Yeah, that took it to a level of spectacle that was kind of odd. And I do wonder if we've talked about these things, and I understand some of this is like ancillary. How much of it is just like the idea of parity doesn't hit the way that people think that it's going to? Because that's what we've got in the West is parity. You got a whole bunch of
true.
And while we have been watching these games, I don't think that's necessarily made the best. In fact, I would argue that it's made the basketball worse, but it's made the games closer. And that can work in football. That might even work in college basketball when we are just here for stakes. And I think over this last March, you would argue that it didn't work. I don't think this is the way the basketball needs to go. I think you need the best quality of basketball, and then the best teams just win. And I think that is more enjoyable than the idea of these games are just close, even if the basketball isn't as good.
Okay, so real quick on that when it comes to college basketball and the parity that's there.
I knew that was going to set him off. I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Like, it's cool during the regular season. Again, this is only for me personally and for the few that may feel the same way. I only have a certain amount of bandwidth that I can dedicate to college basketball. The last thing that I'm trying to do when you tell me that the 68 best teams in the country are getting together to play in a tournament to determine who the best team is to see, I can say I'm a hater or whatever. I guess I might be. Last thing I want to see is Florida Atlantic and who else made the Final Four?
That's a great question, KG, and I'm glad you asked it.
UConn, Miami, and San Diego State.
Hey, you did it. I'm proud of you.
Not trying to see those teams necessarily in the Final Four. And the ratings, to my credit, reflected that. The lowest ever watched national championship game ever between, what was it, UConn and San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Ollie, I guess. But no, the NBA playoffs, they've been a lot of fun. Thanks to Jimmy Butler and what he's got going on. Been a lot more fun.
Yeah, I think there's always still going to be that portion of it that's going to make the NBA entertaining. But I think on the whole, this feels like a lesser caliber product than we've had in the past. And somebody made a good point. NHL playoffs are more exciting than the NBA playoffs right now. And it feels like that's honestly the case a lot of times just with the nature of playoff hockey. The problem with hockey in the past has just been, you go, where do I see this game again? Like, it just has not had the placement. And maybe with the ESPN and Turner deals, that the placement has kind of made it more prominent and maybe made it a little bit more accessible for everybody. Who, maybe the folks that are not hardcore hockey fans. Because that's the problem with I guess I shouldn't say like definitively like I know exactly what the problem is, but that's what I hypothesize might be one of the problems with hockey is that you get to the playoffs and this needs to be less of just a niche and it needs to be something that is open to anybody jumping in. And I think you're getting closer to that.
So get right with Reggie KG right here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, we're 3-2-1. I don't hate underdogs, just not in the NCAA tournament. We go inside the gray area where Ben Affleck explains how he and Matt Damon once blew $600,000 in 6 months.
Oh, that didn't sound hard at all.
Next on the Get Right.
Coming up on the next KNC Masterpiece, we got Derek.
exclusive podcasts, video content, and much more 24/7 at 1053thefan.com.
About to go inside the gray area here on the Get Right with Reggie KG here on 105 through the fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula, Alec Medford holding it down for you here. We are with you until midnight tonight here. Appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app, the truckrate.com text line 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053 if you want to get in on the conversation. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula. If you want to give us a follow on Twitter, coming up a little bit later on in the show. A little AM on the FM.
Nice.
With Mr. Medford here on this Monday night. Jimmy Butler put together a historic performance tonight with his 56 points. Unfortunately, for John Morant, he is going back to the locker room once again as he's dealing with that right hand injury, landing on that right hand again. He's back in the game right now as Memphis has climbed back into the game as it is tied 66-66 with about 7.5 minutes left in the third quarter as the Lakers are trying to go up 3-1 in their series. Unfortunately, the good guys go down today. The Texas Rangers fall to the Cincinnati Reds in the bottom of the ninth inning as they look to bounce back tomorrow when Martin Perez gets on the mound for the Texas Rangers. Medford, let's go inside the gray area here. As we do, we'll start with this story here because I'm sure Reg won't believe it based off this headline I'm about to read.
Before you do that, once we hit the gray area, and Medford, back me up if I'm right. Let me know if I'm wrong here. Your register goes down just a little bit once we get into the gray area.
Yeah, trying to set the mood. Is that okay?
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that I wasn't bugging.
Yeah, I mean, you got the candle in here and all.
It's true.
That kind of thing. So
candle every night.
We try to set the mood a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know where that was going.
Yeah, I was like, what you want me to do with that, man?
Exactly what you did. Call me out for it.
All right.
Appreciate
fantastic.
that. The headline goes like this, gentlemen. Love you too, Medford. It goes like this. A man wins the lottery for the third time in a year using the exact same numbers.
Why would y'all play this? Every time I hear a story about someone winning the lottery, it always sounds nonsense. I'm like, y'all think y'all got a plan for this? Y'all keep putting y'all money into this?
Well, this Maryland man just won his third $50,000 lottery prize in the span of 11 months. Even crazier, he did by using the same numbers each time. 48548.
What's that, like his area code or something?
No. The man said, quote, hit last year and it hit again. My wife said, let's play this number and we keep winning with it. The 52-year-old returned to lottery headquarters this week to claim his latest prize won in the April 13th midday drawing. He had placed a $1 straight bet on the number 48548, the same bet and number that won $100,000 on 2 tickets he purchased in the May 18th, 2022 midday drawing. The Lucky Lotto player also told the Maryland lottery officials that he believes most winners quit playing after their number is drawn and that their number will never win again. He doesn't. And with good reason.
This is a lotto plant. I've decided. It took me a second.
Wait, what?
Finish out that statement. You were in the middle of a statement there.
Oh, no, that was it.
For good reason? Okay, cool. He's a plant by the lotto. Follow me. Hear me out. They want you to believe all you got to do is just keep playing the same numbers, baby. Just keep playing the same number over and over. It'll hit eventually. This is a conspiracy.
To the tune of 3 times in a row?
See, now you got to open your third eye, Kevin. This is a conspiracy.
Speaking of 3, apparently.
To get people, yes, it's a number. It's a very important number in numerology.
What's this? What?
It's a conspiracy.
Sound real crooked right now.
To get you
What is
to
happening?
keep playing that lottery. You hear me? The lottery.
Is this your best crooked pastor voice or something? Like,
They want you to keep playing.
What is happening here?
Over and over and over again. So you keep putting your money in the lottery. That's what they're looking for.
Like you're an IRS tax filing away from being a crooked pastor with that voice.
Why? What are you doing right now?
Like, what's happening here?
What is what?
Oregon shortening a IRS, you know.
Oh no, Oregon. If I had an Oregon, we'd be on a whole
here.
different level.
Good gracious.
It's supposed to be like a pseudo intellectual. Yeah, no, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
The gentleman also went on to say, I play the lottery all the time. You never know.
That's right.
You can't win it if you're not in it.
You hear it? You see? That's what they want from you.
Okay.
I want you to think that you just got to keep playing this.
No.
Just keep playing. Your money coming. If you just win $100, don't worry. It'll hit again.
Well, he definitely doesn't have to tell that to a gentleman by the name of Cedric Bass of Kannapolis, North Carolina.
Not a real place.
Actually, it is.
You been?
Do you know who was born in Kannapolis, North Carolina?
Clearly I don't. I didn't even think that was real.
It's one of the most famous racing families ever. Dale Earnhardt, the late Dale Earnhardt.
Oh, did not realize that.
The Earnhardt family.
But it does make sense because if you are from North Carolina, it is in your DNA to love NASCAR. Like it's just you are born with it. I don't care who you are. You like NASCAR now.
Bass, who had already won $182,073 back in January, just won another $1 million prize playing a $10 VIP platinum ticket. How about it?
I don't understand the words that you just said. VIP platinum ticket?
That's right.
Okay.
Meanwhile, over in Massachusetts, Trisha Johnson won $100,000 not once but twice, and her son won another $100,000 in the span of just 3 weeks playing the exact same numbers.
So nobody hears nonsense in this? It's just me?
How's that theory of yours working out over there?
Propaganda. I'm telling you, it's all propaganda.
Now that win is kind of nuts. That's crazy.
Also, why do we know all these people's names? Like, are these the states that won't let you claim privately?
Yes, let me tell you something.
That's real nasty.
If I won,
you wouldn't know a damn thing, brother.
All you would know is that. Actually, no. Well, you wouldn't know that I won, but I wouldn't quit my job.
Well, I mean, not unless it's like crazy money.
Yeah. No, actually, I would still be working. It's funny. My wife, we talk about this all the time. Like, if we ever won the lottery, would we quit our jobs? She knows that I wouldn't quit. Like, I love doing this, so I wouldn't stop, working. But, yeah, you're not going to know that I won, though. That's for sure. Unless they just like, hey, Kevin, you have to tell that you won. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want none of y'all claiming y'all cousins or nothing.
Oh, yeah, because y'all be coming out the woodwork.
Leave me alone.
Oh, Memphis like, yeah, I got them cousins, too, that come out the woodwork if I won $1 million.
All right.
I think we all do. We all do.
No? Okay. The headline goes like this. Ben Affleck explains how he and Matt Damon once blew $600K in 6 months.
Was it playing the lottery over and over again?
Probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
I mean, I could do that.
Wait, what?
600K? I could blow that.
Yeah, I think I could. Well, not even think. I know I could. That would definitely. You got 600K? I can show you.
So in an interview,
Yes, that's a no.
Yeah, that's a no. With Drew Barrymore. By the way, Drew Barrymore does fascinating interviews. I don't know if you sit down and watch. You seen Drew Barrymore's interviews, Medford?
She be in her interviewee's lap. She's just like, I want to be physically close to you while I ask this question.
She did an interview recently with one of the Bailey sisters.
Yes, it was Chloe
That
Bailey.
one was really good.
But she at one point, because Bailey's talking about, having like imposter syndrome because of all the, successes she's having. She's like, she doesn't like deserve it and that kind of thing.
And it's worth setting up. Like the interview style is not like what you think with Johnny Carson late night set. This is this. I guess I would compare to like kind of like what you would think is like a traditional therapist setup with like a couch across from another couch.
Yeah. And at one point, Barrymore, when I tell you she gets within a foot of Bailey's face, like they are like face to face, like having this like whole moment. And I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but I mean, we gotta have.
And that's not out of the ordinary.
No,
like,
it is not.
That's how she does this.
Yeah, very much so.
Although, who does she give? I think she gave Mary J. Blige, space, which was like, just knowing your audience. I appreciate that. She's like, I don't think Mary J. gonna go for being all up in this personal space.
But Ben Affleck sat down and did an interview with Drew Barrymore, and they're promoting their new movie,
Air,
which I heard is done extremely well.
I've heard good things.
Good things about that movie.
Still went and saw John Wick 4 instead.
Oh, that's right.
Very fun.
Affleck says that he and Matt Damon went broke just 6 months after selling the script for Good Will Hunting. Now, of course, Good Will Hunting, one of the famous films, especially for Matt Damon.
Okay, I was wondering where one of those was going, because if you said greatest films of all time, I was like, I don't know, that's a little far.
No.
Good, it's good. Don't get me wrong.
He said, quote, when we sold Good Will Hunting, I was like, we're now rich for life. My needs are over. I will never have to work again.
That's right.
We sold it for $600,000. We split that $300,000 each, and then the agents got $30,000. So we had $270,000, and we paid about $160,000 in taxes. Damn. So we had $110,000. You see how quickly that descended? They went from $600,000 to each having
That's right.
$110,000 in a matter of seconds.
That's right.
Okay, taxes, agent, all kinds of stuff.
That's why we really like, especially in sports, because we know everybody's paychecks reported. You gotta be careful counting people's money. You know what I mean? I mean, some might say you should just not do that. But yeah, you gotta be careful. But you don't know what all things they gotta pay for and contractually and such.
He said we each bought a $55,000 Jeep Cherokee, and then we each had $55,000 left. So naturally, we decided to rent a $5,000 a month party house on Glencoe Way by the Hollywood Bowl, and we were broke within 6 months.
You said it was Matt Damon with the interview?
Ben Affleck.
That was Affleck. Well,
Yeah.
Damon was 26 when they did that. When they did Good Will Hunting. Let me see how old was Affleck.
I mean, things are
25. Like,
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
Couple party boys.
you get six-figure money and you're like, yeah, this is money forever. And
King of the world.
Yeah, you realize don't really go that far. It's funny thinking about like the ages of which like the reality of money sets in, because my little brother work at Taco Bell right now. He got to graduate high school.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that he thinks he is like flush, but he operates as if
he got it like that?
He operates that little as if that little paycheck doing something. I'm like, oh, you don't have responsibilities yet. And I guess like he understands money, but to an extent. And I guess Ben and Matt rather, where they got that 600 and they understood money to an extent. Not that 600,000 though. They were like, oh, this is forever money. No, it's about a few years money.
I think it worked out okay for each of them though, because
why? What have they done
today? Affleck is worth an estimated $150 million. Matt Damon, $170 million.
That's cute of them to keep that close.
It's not bad. That's a trip inside the gray area here on the Get Right. Reggie KG here on 105.3 The Fan. Coming up next, your headlines on this Monday
There's
night.
a lot of them. There's so many of them.
There is a lot, including a new head coach for the Houston Rockets, James Harden.
What? He don't play there no more?
He might after this. They got this coach. Next on the Get Right.
Be a part of the show. Text us on the truckwreck.com fan text line, 877-881-1053. That's 877-881.
Is 105.3 The Fan.
Hello, baby.
KRLD FM and HD1, Dallas Fort Worth.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
From our fan studio secured by DFWsecurity.com, it's time for the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan.
Final hour to Get Right with Reg and KG on 105.3 The Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula.
KG in here misbehaving.
Alec Medford holding it down for. I got it from Medford. Appreciate you joining. Yep. Appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app. The truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053. All I did was acknowledge the Queen. That's all I did.
You playing cars?
Huh?
Don't worry about it. Okay.
No. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula on Twitter, Alec on the radio. They sure did.
Putting on us on Beyond 11.
That's right, especially with Medford holding it down. A little AM on the FM coming up here in 18 minutes. Chaos will ensue at that particular time. 877-881-1053. 877-881-1053 is the truckwreck.com text line. Also live on Twitch at twitch.tv/DallasFanCam and on YouTube. 105 through the Fan on YouTube. Shout out to my daughter's school today.
What happened at school?
Went on her first field trip.
He said road trip, like they went across the country.
Hell, it felt like it driving from Fate to Grapevine in the middle of the morning. That's an hour-long drive from my house.
Was there some traffic, though?
A little bit, but nothing like, crazy. But she went on her first field trip today at the Sea Life Aquarium. And yes, 940, it's officially Reginald Atatula's birthday.
It's 2 days late. But I appreciate
for that person.
Yes.
For that person.
Thank you for the happy birthday wishes.
I knew when your birthday was. I was reading it like, geez.
You said it's officially my birthday, which is technically incorrect, but it's fine. I appreciate.
You see who I work with? I'm trying to acknowledge the texters.
You act like you don't know this. You've been new this. I appreciate that. If you want to, open your wallet to show some appreciation, support Helen's project. Fantastic work with people that are, down and out and need some resources. They're at hlproject.org if you could support them. If you feel so strongly about what I and what we do on the program that you want to say some appreciation, do it in that way. That'd be really dope. And I'd love it and I'd appreciate it. I'll give you a shout out too. Twitter, Instagram, do not matter. Let me know.
Speaking of Reg's birthday, as we kick off our headlines here, we had the chance this weekend to hang out in Las Colinas.
Just in general, we was hanging out in Las Colinas?
Yeah, we were.
Okay.
We went to the Invited Celebrity Classic.
Yes.
Shout out to Antonio Ramiro Romo.
Celeb champion.
And Mark Hansby, who actually won the actual real event for the PGA.
On the Champions Tour.
And more importantly, shout out to Tim O'Neill. Who unfortunately struggled a little bit with the putter on Sunday during the final round.
Clearly, they gave my man a messed up putter. All right.
Yeah.
Give my man the right putter because he was putting that ball right where it needed to be. He was setting himself up in the group, the foursome that he had there, which was a really fun group as well.
It was Justin Leonard.
Yep.
Kenny Perry, Tim O'Neill, and John Lester.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wearing some real fly Jordan 1s.
He was.
I might add.
He was.
But Tim was constantly, it felt like he was out driving everybody. Well, everybody but John Lester.
Yeah, he was.
Who played baseball. It clearly was evident that he did.
Yeah.
But, Tim was driving well. His approach shots were really good, like making sure to put the ball on the dance floor. He just, when it should have been, a 1-putt, 2-putt, when it should have been a 2-putt, 3-putt,
yeah.
it just, he lost a whole bunch of strokes that way, and he really could have been contending for some really nice prize money if the putter just gone the right way on Sunday. But it was still fun to, be able to watch him, walk with him and, be able to see those guys play.
Speaking of walking.
How your legs feeling?
Walking, we walked, 10 holes yesterday. Because we walked we
walked a little bit more than that because we walked back and forth a few times. Made sure to see Emmett. Made sure to see Tony.
Yeah,
we saw a few different people.
Regardless, Hey, man, y'all didn't tell me that walking a golf course will whoop your ass the way that it does.
Why didn't you understand that?
That's the first time I've ever walked a golf course.
Is that your first time on a golf course?
Like on the grounds of.
Okay, so yeah, you just didn't understand how expansive this thing can get.
No.
Okay, gotcha. My bad. I should have helped you out with that. My bad.
No, it's fine because my legs and my hips and everything else in my body is like, don't you ever do that again.
You know why that is, Medford? He 36. Thank you. Thanks.
Good. It's elite timing.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to y'all walking courses. You know what's funny though? Speaking of Tony Romo, Tony said, I ain't got y'all for this walking. I don't know if his back was flaring up on him this weekend or what.
That was the scuttlebutt that I heard on the course.
But Tony said, I got you with this cart though.
Yeah, everybody. It seemed. Well, I shouldn't say everybody, but there was a lot of folks that were walking at Tony. Was like, nah, I'm good. y'all can do all that.
I'm gonna win this tournament with this golf cart of mine.
Also, shout out to Tolo Joey. Is that? Am I remembering correctly? That stopped us on the golf course.
Yes.
He was like, I know. I thought y'all look
like,
familiar.
Hey, ain't y'all the nighttime guys? Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
What? From the 940. I don't know if I need to read this.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. 940.
No chafing occurred.
No, just my legs.
It was just fatigue.
Yeah. Because I woke up this morning, I was like,
did I work out? Is that what you thought?
I was like, why are my legs sore? I'm sitting there driving the Grapevine, sitting in the car, like, my legs really hurt today. Like, what happened? Oh, clown, you walked a golf course yesterday.
It was fun though.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Cold.
It did. It was cold to start off with, a little rainy. Shout out to the gentleman who, shuttled us, all of half a mile to the golf course so we didn't have to walk in the rain. Appreciate that. But no, it was a lot of fun at Las Colinas Golf Club this weekend, and appreciate.
We're now golf event attenders.
Yeah. By the way, if you didn't know, the Get Right
yeah.
is the official golf show of 105 through the Fan.
Okay. Good luck with that.
That's right, Choppy.
We're not gonna be able to hold on to that at all.
Come see me. I'm here at 7:00. Come see.
That's great. That's a great way of playing this. If you want to dispute it, you need to show up at 7 p.m. It'll never happen. It'll never happen.
By the way, speaking of RJ Choppy in the morning show, shout out to Brian Broaddus. He's going to be on with the morning show tomorrow for an hour, beginning at 8 a.m., talking NFL draft. Y'all go, I know Medford, right? Y'all go appreciate Broaddus. Broaddus, tell him why you're shaking your head.
This man just needs to sit down.
He stay working.
He is always working.
Well, this is his time of year.
Yeah, and I respect it because it's awesome to watch, and the content he puts out is amazing.
Incredible.
But I know how drained I get. I can only imagine how drained he gets after doing this for longer than I've been alive.
Because he's going to go do the draft show and Cowboys, break and all the other stuff throughout the course of the day as well. And then get back on here and do, 3 some odd hours of G-Bag. Y'all appreciate Broaddus. Show him love tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. He'll be on with Sean and RJ. RJ, speaking of the morning show also, Sean will be apologizing to Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler
86 of them things
took it personal and dropped a Miami Heat franchise record 56 points in the win as they now have the Milwaukee Bucks on the brink of elimination. They get the win tonight at home, 119-114. Jimmy Butler helps the Miami Heat score 41 points in the fourth quarter. In Giannis's return, he had 26 points as part of a triple-double. Brook Lopez at 36 as part of a double-double. But
that pick and roll was nasty up until about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter when I guess the Bucks decided that they were no longer going to continue knocking down shots and they were going to start getting willy-nilly with the basketball and turning it over. And Jimmy Butler just decided we're not losing this.
Part of a 13-0 run that allowed the Miami Heat to claim the lead in the fourth quarter. Miami now has the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks on the brink of elimination. Speaking of the NBA, the Houston Rockets have a brand new head coach in the form of former Boston Celtics head coach Ime Udoka, who is going to be hired by Tillman Fertitta and the Rockets. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reported today that they have agreed to a deal to hire him as the franchise's next head coach. The hiring comes nearly 3 months after the Celtics suspended and dismissed Udoka for improper workplace relationships, a situation the Rockets investigated.
Was that air quotes that I just saw?
Of course it was.
All right, fantastic.
With the league office and with the Celtics, among others, before making the job offer. And, of course, the only season that Udoka was the head coach of the Boston Celtics, he took them to the NBA Finals, of course, losing to the Golden State Warriors. So Rafael Stone, who had dismissed Stephen Silas recently as their head coach, now gets arguably one of the best young coaches in the game today, despite how you may feel about him, with the prospect of possibly getting
Victor Wembanyama, Big Vic. This is the funny thing about this for me. Obviously, there were some assistants that were also interviewed, but the three major names that were interviewed, they hired the dude without a chip. Nick Nurse was a guy that was considered. Obviously, he won a championship with the Raptors in 2019 when Kawhi Leonard basically carried them there. I can understand why you might not decide to hire him. Frank Vogel won a championship, what was that, like 3 seasons ago? With the Los Angeles Lakers.
Like an eternity at this point.
Both of those guys get passed up for the dude in Ime Udoka, who, look, I'm not trying to say that he will be bad. I think he has the opportunity to be good. Like, I really do. I just don't know for certain because the Boston Celtics were good under Brad Stevens. Not good enough, right? Like, they didn't get over the hump that they needed to. But they had these young guys and this team that was really well built that was going to be good. And then Ime Udoka takes over. They go to the Western Conference Finals in a single season. Where, admittedly, they did get better. And then Ime Udoka leaves because of the aforementioned activities. And then his 2 lead assistants, one is Joe Mazzulla that gets that job with the Celtics, and then the other is Will Hardy who gets the job with the Utah Jazz. Both look incredible elsewhere. And so I'm looking around like, how certain are we that Ime Udoka is really good at this? And secondly, that even if he is good, that he will have the right staff to make, get the results that he needs. In addition to the idea that he didn't build the Celtics. And the Rockets need a little bit of building and it's like establishing of an identity. So I'm not saying that he'll be bad. I think it really will be interesting to watch. But I am not like, this does not seem like a sell, like a absolute perfect hiring. It's a splashy one. But like, if you hire Frank Vogel, by the way, Frank Vogel always has defense. And that is something that the Rockets need desperately. And he has a chip.
Yeah, this is a ceiling hire because let's put it, on the table here for what the Rockets, what they got coming up this offseason. A ton of cap space. Likely a top 5 pick, most likely a top 2 pick, if not the number 1 overall, which means you're getting Victor. You've got young players there with Jalen Green,
you got Jabari
Smith.
You got Alperen Şengün. You got Kevin Porter Jr., who I think we both think he profiles kind of like a really good 6-man at some point. You've got a lot of young talent there.
There's rumors that James Harden is ready to make a return to Houston.
They got the cap space for all that.
They can make some serious splashes this offseason. Again, not that they will need to spin their way into contendership, but they've got something that's very valuable, which is young, talented pieces with the prospect of adding the most anticipated draft pick since, LeBron James in 2003?
But that's the thing. They have a whole bunch of talent. What they need is structure. And so it's going to be incumbent upon Ime Udoka to establish what is indeed the structure, what is the identity of this team. I'm very interested to see because, again, he did not build the Celtics. He just came in and finished. That being said, Ime Udoka, on a joke's perspective, right? I understand what he did in Boston. However, he is a tall, pretty good-looking Nigerian man going to Houston. Like, that is heaven. He's going to have a good time. Let me just say it like that.
Oh, it's about to be up in Houston. And imagine James Harden coming back to Houston. I mean, we know Houston's scene is elite. Just imagine, Harden out there in them streets, and Ime's out here,
What are you saying? Harden and Ime gonna be out there together? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, he free to worship right now, ain't he? So,
all right.
No,
that was good. That was good.
I'm just saying. So we'll see how that works out for them in Houston. And shout out to the WWE as they have decided to reintroduce the World Heavyweight Championship. Medford, we have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I understand where your confusion comes from.
Very much so.
Maybe a little bit of like annoyance. I fully get it, but just the fact that there's a new main card title that can be in play and that will be on TV every single week, we think, is going to be very exciting. And I wish this would have came to fruition a little bit sooner, because Monday Night Raw is at Dickies Arena next week, and I will be there. But
that's right.
He's always got tickets.
And your boy off too. He might be able to make his way out to
You
Fort
should.
Worth.
Oh,
You gonna go with him?
You should.
Look at that.
You should.
Guess who will not be going with you?
All right. Oh, wait. Do we have a show next Monday?
That's a great question.
I can check for you right now.
I'll do some Googles.
Yes, yeah, please do, because before I, get out here and make plans about being at
While he does that,
an event.
and is away from the microphone, in order to give him a little bit more time, KG, it is time for your word
All right.
of the day.
All
Everybody
right.
get excited, baby. Kevin Gray.
All right.
By the way, this is for those of you that aren't always listening to the show. I understand how that happens. Kevin Gray sometimes struggles with some words. So, this is actually really an effort to help him build more familiarity with some of these, these words, his vocabulary, so that we don't end up having Bobby Belt laugh at my man no more. All right. But your word of the day is
maniacal.
Hey,
That's
look
one of
at
my
that.
favorite words to use. Maniacal.
You'll love to see it. That was KG's word of the day, presented by nobody in particular.
Okay, two things. Do I work next Monday?
You do.
Damn it.
What is that? Something we going to have to talk about off air? Or?
No, I'll be here. I'll be here. And
Section 107 gonna be live. Just telling you.
Damn, 107?
Yeah, I got the tickets on pre-sale. So I've had these
course
for
you
like
did.
6 months.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Resourceful. Good for you.
They were like $45 a piece.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And shout out to entrepreneur, business owner, and Wingstop owner Rick Ross for offering Don Lemon a job today. Good for him.
Because he wants a lemon pepper wing.
Coming up next on the Get Right, chaos ensues. Isn't that right, Medford?
Yeah, it's time for AM on the FM. I've got the question of the day per the usual, and I'm going to tell you how you can reverse your aging next on the Fan.
The latest from the Star in Frisco, as well as inside information from around the league. It's DFW's.
Prevnar 20.
Back here on the Get Right, we're Reggie KG here on 105 through the Fan. Yes, we are here past 11 o'clock on this Monday night. We will be with you until midnight here on your home of the Cowboys and Texas Rangers.
And tomorrow.
That's right, and tomorrow as well. We'll be back with you following Rangers baseball as the Rangers look to bounce back after what was a very disappointing loss
They better.
tonight.
I'm going to be mad tomorrow if they don't beat the Reds.
Against Cincinnati before they have their Wednesday game. I believe is at 11:35.
So it's a pretty early day game
on Wednesday. So, and we'll be back from 7 to 11 on Wednesday, and then on Thursday,
draft night.
It is Christmas for football fans in some ways.
Is that Christmas? If we had to like translate the calendar for the NFL, draft night isn't Christmas.
For some fans and fan bases,
they're wrong.
And teams that it is.
They're wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic.
I think it's time for this.
What does this button do? Please, please, do not push the button. You have no idea what it...
Now, reality can be whatever I want.
Don't you dare touch that dial. Don't you dare do it. Listen to Jim Carrey when he speaks to you, because it's AM on the FM right here with the Get Right on 105.3 The Fan.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you, because it feels like it's been a while since I've talked to you guys on this program.
Yeah.
So, thanks for bringing me back. I appreciate that.
Draft night is kind of like 4th of July.
Fireworks. I like it.
That's good.
I like it.
I don't know.
So the last thing I'm going to do to you during this segment, and especially on 100,000 watts of radio, is lie to you. So I am tired as hell, so please bear with me.
Appreciate the honesty.
English might be hard. I've been here since 4:30, but before that, I ran 6 miles and I hit legs after.
I was was somebody chasing you? What happened?
No, I'm trying to. I told you guys a few weeks ago, and I got called millennial for saying that I'm trying to cut. And
millennial?
Yeah, someone said I was too millennial, and they were changing the dial because of it. So, yeah, I thought that was just a fitness term. But
it is.
Yeah, so I'm already down 6 pounds in the course of like 2 weeks of cutting. Just trying to look good for the summer, and I'm trying to start running competitively again because I miss racing. And Carter just convinced me, our Twitch operator here at 105.3 The Fan, Carter Freeman, he convinced me to do a race in May. So I've got 3 weeks to get ready for that race, and I don't race for fun, I race to win. So I got to be in shape. And yeah, so that's why we are slimming down, and I have lowered the calorie intake, meaning I have less energy lately. And on top of that, I've not been sleeping well lately for a multitude of reasons. It's been a weird, past 10 days. And that's personal stuff that I don't want to talk about on 100,000 watts of radio. But
you're doing this to yourself in some ways.
Yeah, I'm just being transparent. I told you the last thing I'm going to do is lie to you.
That's fair.
Especially during my segment, because I think that's just unfair.
Also, when's the cutoff for millennial? Because there are people saying that actually you're a Gen Z.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I don't even know. Okay. My brain's not functioning. But
Byron, real quick, I suggest to you get yourself a diffuser.
That's a great idea.
Find yourself a scent that you like and that you enjoy.
That's a great idea.
My personal favorite is lavender, and it can really help kind of calm some nerves and those kinds of things at night, especially if you're having a little bit of trouble sleeping. So it's kind of...
In middle school, my late mother bought me one and got me the lavender oils.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Oh, look at that.
Fantastic.
Call back to moms.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm personally a humidifier, not a diffuser.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm from Houston, so that might just be part of it.
It's just hot all the time.
Humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the question of the day today, this was actually brought up. One from a conversation with some friends at school last week, but it got brought up again when I was talking to Ruben Portillo, our very own up here. And it was a question that Eric Chiafalo posed when I first started here, and it was one of the first times I ever ran the nosebleed seats. And, 10 o'clock hour, just kind of off the wheels and off the rails, all kinds of random stuff happening. And he posed the question, what is the biggest, most grandiose thing you've ever done for someone that is no longer in your life?
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
That's I was about to say that's tough, but actually that might not be that tough.
Be the best man in their wedding.
Wow. Okay.
Best man, not even just groomsman. That's all right. So I'm gonna try and ask this delicately. Was that partnership that was, enacted on that day part of the reason why y'all not good no more?
No.
Okay. More of a just kind of grew apart thing? Or
You could say that.
Okay, so I was like, I'm trying to get an idea of, is it an individual instance that kind of broke this, or was this just kind of like a growing apart? You know what I mean?
It was a single individual instance.
Gotcha. We don't have to go any deeper than that. Just wanted to know.
Feel like that. Reggie?
Oh, that's tough. Oh, I mean, one of my former roommates, just not really good no more.
Yeah.
And I don't even know exactly what happened. So I'm like, what was the biggest thing? We drove to Houston for a comedy show. So I guess that
that's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
And feel free to chime in 877-881-1053. That is the truckwreck.com text line, or Dallas Fan Cam on Twitch and 1053 The Fan on YouTube. But Eric Chiafalo had a field day with my response.
Okay.
And I think it still holds up, even though this was 3 years ago now. Yeah, this was 2020 whenever, because I remember he was at his house broadcasting. And I hate this to this day because I still have I have the product that I got for this individual. I didn't even get to give it to her, to the ex-girlfriend.
Oh.
I went to a Rangers and Astros game right before the pandemic hit. And I was keeping this because I went to the game. It was one of those, what would that be? September games. So late in the season, Rangers were bad. We all know this in 2019. Went to this game and I just hounded the bullpen, the visitors' bullpen for an Astros game. And I got Garrett Cole's autograph. Because she was a massive Garrett Cole fan back when he was with Houston. And just because she thought he was hot, she didn't understand baseball, any of that.
Oh, well, I'm glad she's her ex, because I don't know what kind of taste she got.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I mean, I got the autograph.
Garrett Cole slander. Okay.
Yeah.
I got the autograph.
And that takes a lot for me, because you know how I feel about it.
And so
About Garrett Cole? Oh, okay. I was like, I'm very confused. Sorry, continue.
I just held on to it because her birthday was in March. I got this in September, right? Or maybe the month before. So I just held on to it. It was going to be a birthday gift.
Wait, you got the previous September before her
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then y'all didn't make it through cuffing season?
Yeah, we broke up like a week before her birthday.
Yo!
And so I still have an autographed 8x10 of Garrett Cole in his Astros uniform.
That's still sitting in your house for what?
It's in the middle. It's just shoved in my my desk. It's got like one of those like cubbies in it. Yeah, it's just in the back. It's in a protective sleeve, so it's not getting hurt. I just kept it. I mean, like, what am I going to do with it? You know?
List it? Somebody want to
I'm about to say cash. It sounds like a good idea.
I'm eventually going to, but like I move houses in the process, and I just completely forgot about it. Came across it again, and then Chiafalo just had a field day with that. That I went to a Ranger game by myself just to try to get Garrett Cole's autograph.
That's not. I mean, that's
what
not
you
the
mean.
worst.
Try. You got it.
Yeah, that's also a great point.
Succeeded. Yeah, so that was interesting. And that same one.
Her loss, by the way. Her loss.
Oh yeah, we know that one.
I like the confidence from Medford there.
No, there.
I mean, you see what he's working with now?
There's a long story there.
I didn't need to bring that to air, but yes, I have.
I mean, he's brought it there. He all right with it.
Barely. It's complicated, but anyways, I'll tell you during the break. But
oh no, wait a minute now.
This is not supposed to be depressing. This is supposed to be
it just got really depressing on the truckwreck.com
okay, right,
text line for the
all
940. Bought my ex-fiance a car. Paid $11,000 in cash for it in 2011.
I don't feel bad about my situation.
Oh, no, you got to finish it.
I am still going. I just had to pause for effect and to gather myself. We had been seeing each other for 6 years, came home from work 2 weeks later, and she had packed everything up and moved out.
Everything.
Never responded to my messages to this day. About 6 months later, I found out she was married while they were seeing each other.
No!
That is,
Yeah.
Hey, 940, I am so sorry for you. That is
oh, condolences for my friend.
nasty work.
Oh my God.
That is nasty work.
So like, the tough part about it is like, now you got to start asking yourself, and I really shouldn't do this to you. I apologize. 940. Was she ever in for it, or was the scam the whole point? Because that is devious.
That is awful.
Make you feel better, Medford?
Oh, yeah, and that was the point of this segment. I told you, like, the last 8 to 10 days have been kind of wild for me, so I was like, hey, if I'm down, I may as well just, like, try to make myself feel better with other people's experiences. And I was talking about this with Ruben the other day, and it was just like, that was such a fun conversation because people were so brutally honest with some of the amazing things they had done for people. And it's like, you guys out there, you Tolo, some of y'all are just amazing people that deserve better. And I hope you get better, whoever you are that texted in about the car, 940. You deserve better, my friend.
All the better.
You deserve so much better, and I hope you get it.
Also, it seems like we're going to make that one, I guess, like mistake, I guess, or whatever that you have had. We might be able to make that work because from the 214, they said, Alec, you know I'm the DFW Astros fan. So
hit me up on Twitter, at Alec on the radio.
See if we can make something happen. Let's make a deal.
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter. I am open for business. But yeah, I just wanted to revisit that conversation because there were some wild stories. And I think that was my favorite one. I mean, I also bought her UGG boots for Christmas. That ran me a cool $250. What else?
Damn, UGG boots
you sound
were
like
crazy,
you sound
they?
just like me. When I was in college, I had a girl who I was pursuing the hell out of. And when I tell you about her cameras, cell phones.
Wait, cameras like professional photography cameras?
No, you remember them like you probably don't remember because you know.
Don't do that. Are you talking disposable cameras like a Nikon digital camera? I'm just trying to get
Nikon digital. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't disrespect
man.
Yes, you did. Don't do that. You know damn well you did.
Stop shooting the damn ball, D'Angelo. Jeez. But no, long story short, I kept buying like all this stuff for her. I bought her. Here's what you need to know. We gotta go to break. This is how wildly obsessed I was in some ways with her. She needed a new car.
Oh no! Don't tell me to co-sign. Don't tell me to co-sign.
Hell no, I wasn't that crazy.
Okay, let's say I was like, oh, please don't.
I would go to the dealership for her. I would go get cars and test drive for them, and then bring them up to her job, and be like, hey, what about this car? Hey, what about this car? What about this car?
Excuse me?
Yeah, your boy was doing way too much.
Ooh, boy.
Only to come to find out, like my man here from the 940.
Oh, this is relatable.
She was dating someone the entire time.
Ah, boy.
But I was out here trying to talk to her.
That's tough.
Yeah, that was nasty work, man.
That is crazy.
So I feel you on the.
Yeah, just needed to feel better about myself today, and you helped me achieve that, so thank you. And just because y'all want to keep this money spending on tickets agenda going, I'm going to see the R&B artist.
How is it an agenda when you keep telling me that you're doing all these things?
I just like feeling the fight. You said it yourself. Chaos ensues. Here we go. I'm going to see LMA this Sunday at Southside Ballroom, and I am thoroughly excited.
Jason Tatum still with her?
Who?
Jason Tatum?
With who?
LMA.
Oh.
I don't think so.
It took me a second to even realize he was talking. No.
I could be wrong, though.
See, I turned 31 and the old brain habit. I was like, who is
He's 31!
I was like, who the young buck listening to the LMA? Who is that? I don't know nothing about no LMA.
Don't trip. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's Final Call next on the Get Right.
Coming up in the next G-Bag Nation, we'll have the Rangers player show for you at 2:20. They are...
Final time here on the Get Right, where Jaren Jackson Jr. said, "Get that weak-ish out of here, Rui Hachimura."
Yeah, Rui shouldn't have tried to dunk on him. See, Rui Hachimura has had 2 possessions in the last 30 seconds. No, last 2 minutes of these games.
Yeah,
where it was like, who do you think you are?
I am.
Well, no, you're not. You're really not.
As the Grizzlies get a Desmond Bain layup to go up by 2 with about 8 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's the Get Right with Reggie KG here on 105 through the Fan. Kevin Gray, Reginald Atatula, Alec Met for one final time here on this Monday night. Appreciate you joining us on Odyssey and the Odyssey app. We will be back with you tomorrow following the Rangers and Reds game number 2, hopefully in the W column for the good guys after falling tonight in game 1 of their 3-game series. Martin Perez looks to get the series even at 1 tomorrow when he takes the mound for your Texas Rangers. At Kevin Gray Sports, at Reg Atatula, at Alec on the radio. And what was a busy day in the world of sports, not only, of course, the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball action, but the Rockets have a new head coach in Ime Udoka. Aaron Rodgers finally, for goodness sake, is now a New York Jet. As we enter the final call here on the Get Right, real quick note on that. So apparently Aaron Rodgers had gotten Joe Namath's blessing to wear his number.
Number 12.
And Aaron was like, no, I'm not going to do it. As LeBron James gets a layup with 0.8 seconds left in regulation to tie the game at 104. It looks like we are headed toward overtime as LeBron James and company are trying to go up 3-1 on the Grizzlies as he takes Xavier Tillman all the way to the basket.
Had to go over top of Jaren Jackson, too, which is not an easy task.
I mean, he put that ball on the top of that backboard, too, for the layup. But Aaron Rodgers refusing to take Joe Namath's number.
Yeah, and decided to go back to 8. And I was about to say I wonder why that is, but I actually don't. And you want to know why? Do you want to hear Aaron Rodgers explain that? I don't want to hear Aaron Rodgers explain that.
I'm good on that.
So,
I'm good on
more
that.
power to you wearing number 8. Although, wasn't that what Joe Flacco was wearing last year?
Oh, really?
I don't know. For some reason, that feels like a number that I haven't seen with the Jets recently. Nope, he was wearing 19, so I don't know who was wearing 8 recently. Doesn't matter though. Aaron Rodgers now.
Shout out to New Orleans senior high school student Dennis Barnes. Dennis Barnes today set a new national record by receiving offers, from 125 colleges and universities, totaling more than $9 million in scholarships. More than any other college-bound senior in U.S. history.
All right.
His goal is to reach $10 million in offered scholarships by the end of the month.
What is he doing? I always appreciate the young men and women that are capable of putting together like phenomenal high school careers that give themselves a great opportunity to go on in college and hopefully have a fantastic academic career and a great life. With that being said, I'm always left wondering with stories like this, why are you applying to so many damn schools? Like,
he has applied to 200 schools across the country.
You know damn well you got a short list that you are more interested in, and you also probably have a good idea of where you can and can't get into. This is a vanity project, man. Like applying to 200 schools. You don't need to do that. Apply to I can even still understand you apply to 30 schools. 200, dog? What are we doing?
Well, the amount of offers Barnes received breaks the previous record documented in the Guinness Book of World Records held by shout out to Louisiana, a Lafayette High School senior who received $8.7 million in scholarships back in 2019.
Did they receive, or they received $8.7 million in offers, some of which they actually, or a lot of which they would not use because they would not go to those schools, and then they have a whatever amount at the one school that they are ultimately going to go to, and all this is just for nothing.
I have no idea.
More power to you, though, whatever college you go to.
Well, Barnes said that he submitted college applications in August with an eye on raising the bar for college admissions. Decision letters were in overflow in my mailbox and hundreds of scholarship offers. My man has maintained a cumulative grade point average. How is this even possible? 4.98.
Oh, because some folks get the 5-point scale.
Oh, there's 5-point scales running around out here now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to the old classic 4.0 scale.
All right. He wanted to make sure you know that he's somebody's daddy.
Relax.
Back in my day, we had a 4-point scale.
Damn right. 5.
I don't know nothing about no 4-point scale.
Don't.
Out here.
That's what you want to talk about.
That's what's wrong with your generation. The 5-point scale.
Sound made up.
And you be on the TikToks.
Made up as hell. 5.0 scale. Medford has this piece of audio for me. I believe it is clean. I believe. You can check me on that.
He said, I believe. We gonna hit the dump button, ain't we?
No, I'm gonna let him check it.
Let me go ahead and
I'm
get
gonna give him
ready.
a second.
Okay, I was about to say, let me go ahead and get ready on this here dump button.
No, it's good. I'm gonna let him check it though. Can you check that for me, please? Make sure. Thank you.
Fantastic.
But yeah, that sound made up. 4.98 on a. It's not like something on a Richter scale or some sort. By the way, speaking of the Jets, real quick, go back to the Jets. Did you see their social media today?
The Jets? I saw the conversations about the Texans' social media.
No. Go to the Jets social media account.
Lord have mercy. Also, yes, 682, you're right. The local post office got to tax him for doing too much. Pick it up at the station if you want all these. Let's see. New York Jets.
All you need to know is that Joe Button was a star.
What is their damn Twitter?
At NYJets.
That's what I typed in. Why is it not popping up?
See,
there
Elon,
it is. It's
Elon's gold check mark.
Yeah, it's also a great point. There are no.
It just starts off with Joe Button's "I've been waiting,"
and I've been waiting, baby. I love that video. Also, Jets owner. I guess that's the one thing I feel comfortable calling him amongst the other things that he is. Tweeted simply, "How's everybody feeling?"
So what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
We all good?
Also, going back to old buddy that got a whole bunch of scholarship offers.
Yeah.
You just messing up the line for everybody else.
How?
The acceptance people, you done taken up so much time at 199 schools that you know damn well you're not going to.
I mean, it sounds like job security to me.
But there's a whole bunch of other kids that got to send in applications, and you taking up just that much time on some BS. You know damn well you're not going to that school.
Job security for them
being
too.
a jerk.
Speaking of job security, that is not in the vocabulary of Don Lemon today.
Nor Tucker Carlson.
Or Tucker Carlson. Shout out to Rick Ross, though, who is willing to lend Don Lemon a helping hand.
Just found out Don Lemon was terminated from CNN. Damn, Don. But guess what? The brothers got your back. We hiring in at Wingstop. And for some reason, I believe you know what you're doing with them lemon pepper wings. So, man, just send over your resume. Well, for 17 years. But I'm going to make sure I get you in front of the right grill, brother. Stay solid, brother.
That's real nasty.
Just came up with a wonderful idea. Well, really, Don, you helped me come up with this, but I need to hit the team over at Rapstar Energy Drink and let them know we should introduce the Don Lemon flavor. What y'all think? What y'all think? Hey, Don, I'm gonna bust it. Hey, we got you, brother. Don Lemon.
Is he trying to make fun of Don Lemon because he said I got a grill for you to get in front of? And how disrespectful is that?
Maybach music.
I'm gonna have you dropping fries. How you like that? Get you back on your feet.
You know what my favorite part of that clip was?
What is that?
Not the fact that he was, trying to create
Maybach music.
That's right. Trying to create, lemon flavored, energy drinks.
Which I feel like isn't that one of the earlier flavors that you should have considered?
Probably.
You don't got that in the arsenal already. Anyways,
but it was his realization that Don Lemon had been fired after 17 years at CNN. Did you hear what he said? He was like 17 years. Damn.
Sometimes stuff just takes a little while to hit. You know what I mean? You understand it, but then you really understand. You've had that moment where you had that moment earlier today.
Oh.
I don't even remember. What were you talking about? Oh, I remember what you was talking about. We're not going to talk about that here, though.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But you just had a moment earlier today where I know you know this thing because we talked about it. And then it just hit you again and you had to say it. Sometimes it just, things pop back up and you're like, damn, it really hits even harder.
Oh, the
now.
radio. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You just, look, man, things just happen. They just happen. But yeah, shout out to Rick Ross looking out for Don Lemon.
Looking out for now. He was clowning Don Lemon.
I mean, here's the thing. This day felt like something out of the multiverse with everything that was going on. Like, I felt like I was living in an alternative universe today.
Which is crazy because, hey, man, we've been doing this for so long where it feels like everything is happening all at once, all the time. You realize how
felt special though for some reason.
You realize how inundated with just stuff we have been for the last half decade, maybe decade.
Like I woke up to the news that Fox and CNN rocked their worlds today, and then Aaron Rodgers finally got traded. Ime Udoka gonna be out here, in them Houston streets apparently. Like it's just too much.
Bam Margella is running from the law right now. Let me see if I can get some other stuff on.
WWE so backwards. It was like, hey, let's go back to the World Heavyweight Championship.
Disney's laying folks off.
Oh, yeah. They did start their layoffs, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran's getting sued by
the
by the Marvin Gaye family.
That ain't the problems you want. Those are not the problems you want.
Those are very litigious people.
Ask Robin Thicke about that one. Blurred lines.
There's a lot of things happening, guys.
Nothing blurred about that lawsuit coming. I'll tell you for sure.
What if Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson do a podcast? Oh God, keep me far away from that. Far away from that.
Could you imagine a First Take version of
Please stop. Don't do that. Speaking of First Take, my personal bet on who to replace Tucker Carlson, Will Kane.
For I don't even know what to do with that.
Shouldn't have had me till noon. It's midnight. I don't even know what noon. All right.
Noon?
Take us out. Get us out of here.
Well, that's the work you're doing tonight.
That's right.
By the way, shout out to us for matching. We didn't even know it. Shout out about that.
How cute.
Thanks, man.
For Alec Medford, my partner, Reginald Atatula, my name is Kevin Gray. This has been...
It's nighttime noon.
The Get Right with Reggie KG on 105 through the Fade. We'll talk to you tomorrow after Rangers baseball.
Be easy.
To a Tagovailoa.
Always a welcome sign for this clubhouse. Featuring breaking sports news, inside info, opinion with laughs.